Well then, I'll give Frankie the opportunity to say something. Every time I get feedback, and I'm getting tons of it, you guys have seen most of it, and then people are putting it on my wall. I'm getting instant messages from people, all kinds of stuff saying all this stuff about her, and I always show it to her. So she's seen it all. So
yeah, thank you everyone for listening to our podcast. I know it wasn't much, but I really appreciate all of you supporting us, and I hope to hear feedback from both of us soon. Hopefully we get some more podcasts out there. But again, thank you all.
Very good. Yeah, thank you. And I'm a proud papa. It makes me feel good to hear that. And there's nothing quite like that feeling. So
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Better than Brandon's solo cast, that's for damn sure.
Definitely longer than my solo cast.
It was longer. Yeah, well, this girl, you think I take notes. This girl had so many notes, it was out of control.
I just looked at notes today, and you had, literally nothing written down. And I had just, this whole section for each video, what happened. It's like my research project I was doing earlier. It took me, 4 hours to do that. And it was half of the movie I was jotting down stuff. I didn't even look up at the screen.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, that's awesome. Hey,
it's quite impressive listening to your notes and your take on films because, I mean, Christian's 8 times your age and he has half of that to say.
And I was curious if one of those notes was replace Brandon.
No, she knows on the backbone of the show.
The Jersey Shore.
The Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
What? 8 times my age? Would he be 88?
Yeah.
He can't do math, didn't you?
Sorry, I'm not very good at math.
Yeah, you know, 11-year-olds.
Oh,
drop.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
No, right?
Beautiful.
This girl. Well, I hope you apply as much to your schoolwork as you did the episode. So.
Well, the episode only took me 2 hours. And
well, yeah.
The project took me 4 hours.
Good. Well, then you keep doing what you're doing at schoolwork, and that's good. And there'll be more episodes. The Patreon people have already heard the other one that dropped. I mean, as of recording right now, it hasn't dropped. But by the time the show is heard, it will have dropped. So we did another one where we did some triple R's, and I had some backlog stuff of recordings I made for her in the past, and we played that, and she reacted, and I talked about some things, and we BS'd for an hour. We just had some fun, so that's just for Patreon. So we'll at least do one of those every couple of months.
My daughter and I, we were listening to it on the way home one time, and I'm like, "Can you believe this? It was that good," and she couldn't believe it either. And I only say that because I said, if we did this, me and my daughter, I go, we'd be in and out in 45 minutes. Done. It's just because of the way, and Dave, this is what your dad does, Francesca. He's good. He asks good questions, and he's able to keep it going. I'm boom, 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 out the door.
Yeah, but we're all good at what we're good at, and I didn't know she was going to take all them notes, and I had no idea.
I think it just proves that Dave is the better father.
Well, I only have one.
Hold on, I gotta go beat my kids. Just excuse me for a second.
I only have one, so I mean, if I had 3, I don't think I could juggle it the way C does over here. So you got to give him props. That's no easy task.
It's crazy,
right?
I'm
and
crazy.
You guys do plenty of stuff. You make the movies with your kids and stuff. We could never do that. That stuff's amazing.
Of course we can.
Remember we saw the movies that they made? Remember I showed you?
You write the script. We could do it.
Yeah. We could if we could fit a giant green screen in our house. Yeah.
Maybe someday. We'll do it. Maybe we'll combine with Christian and his kids, and we'll have Brandon drive up.
Yeah, this is making me really depressing, realizing that I have nothing.
Oh, you do. Look at that hairdo.
You got freedom. What do you mean nothing? You got freedom. Everything I do is for my family. Every move I make. I can't even. Now that we're all together all the time, I went from watching 3 movies a day to I'm lucky to get in 2 movies a week, and that's watching at bedtime 20 minutes one night, 20 minutes the next night, and 20 minutes the next night. So,
hey, welcome to my life.
Right? Yeah, man. So, the grass is always greener, they say, but there's nothing like being a proud papa. So that's the best feeling. Was getting all that feedback. So so thanks, guys.
Yeah.
right?
But yeah, you're lucky because Dad keeps telling me how I shouldn't have a husband, I shouldn't have pets when I grow up.
He's a smart man.
Yeah, he's been brainwashing me with that for the last 2 years also.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
But Brandon is still seeking a husband.
I do have a husband actually. His name is Ziggy.
Oh, look at it. Yeah.
That's all you need. You know, you don't need
That's all you need in life.
Yeah, you don't need a kid, nothing. See, everything I'm grooming my daughter to be, you already are. You're a success.
Yeah.
See?
You just have to find your Ziggy.
Yeah.
You can be a role model for me.
Brandon's a role model now. See how easy things just turned. Okay.
Thank you. I needed that.
See? There you go, buddy. All right, you better go.
You just made his day. Holy smoke. I think there's a tear coming out of his eye.
Right? Okay, Frankie's gonna go.
All right. Good night, Frankie, and thank you for an awesome show.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Take care.
Right.
All right. Okay, wait.
So is this the show?
Want to add a couple more all rights?
Yeah, it's a new year. Admittedly, I feel rusty.
So do I. Well, I think the listeners know we're rusty if all this is in the show.
To be honest, Christian, you pretty much haven't improved since day one. You look good this year.
Oh, thank you.
You look less like a bloated raccoon than you did last year.
Bloated.
He's getting all his jokes in. He's halfway done his jokes already.
Shit. I only got 2 left.
Oh, rock and roll.
Bloated raccoon, check.
So yeah, what is
We're
it?
here.
Episode 53 or no?
53.
Is it 53?
Yeah.
53 or 54?
I think it's 53. I'm gonna go with 53.
53.
Okay. I thought you were calling your bonus episode 53.
No. That doesn't count. That's not exploding. That's a bonus episode. I even labeled it bonus episode number 1. So if you do them again,
Oh, okay. I thought you called it 53. I didn't know.
I would never be so bold. No, exploding heads is us 3. It's not the bonus. Please, come on now. The only time Frankie's gonna be featured was today. You know what I mean? So this is weird, huh? We haven't talked in so long.
Hello.
Beautiful.
We can't escape it. What have you guys been doing, man?
Honestly, playing a shit ton of video games.
Games?
Because
really? Nice.
It's been so long. Santa brought my son the Xbox One. So I might be doing more horror game reviews this year now because I finally have an updated system.
Put them on the Patreon.
I played Friday the 13th. I've played Layers of Fear. I've played Dead Rising 3, State of Decay.
You hear that, patrons? More reasons for you to pull back your pledges.
What a douche.
I actually have a new client at the gym who's been telling me to play Layers of Fear.
Layers of Fear was phenomenal, and it's if you're in for action-packed, like if you want fighting, it's not the game for you. This is all about atmosphere and tension. There's jump scares galore as the game progresses, but even if you took those jump scares out, the game would be terrifying. And it's not a long game. You could do the game in a few hours, and it was it was free. From when I got the Xbox, it was like a free download. So I downloaded it and played it, and it was absolutely phenomenal.
Damn! Can I get that for PS4, or is it just an Xbox thing?
That I'm not sure because I don't know if I don't think that was an exclusive. I think that was like a bonus game. I don't think there's an actual disc like you could get it on the PS4 store.
Okay.
I don't quote me on that.
It's also for PC, right?
Yeah.
So you could just download it directly for the PC.
9.5 out of 10.
Ooh, wow! Game rating. It's like IGN over here. Nice. All right. Wow.
I thought that was his IQ, 9.5.
Oh, here we go. I am rusty because I wouldn't usually let him get away with that.
What about Friday the 13th? Because I'm not getting mine until I get into my house, which hopefully by the time the next episode drops, I'm one step closer finally. But what about Friday the 13th? That's what I want.
Friday the 13th is great. Here it is in a nutshell. It's nostalgic. You get like Paterack, whatever the fuck it's called, Lodge from Part 2.
Pack and Heck.
Pack and Heck, yeah. Lodge from Part 2, Crystal Lake. You get Higgins Haven, the Jarvis House. So all of that's there, and it's really cool for that factor. You get Jason in all different forms. I'm still very early in the game. I've played it a bunch of times, but A, one, I suck, and B, you have to play it a lot to start unlocking Jasons and other things. First time I played, though, I lucked out and I got Jason as my character, so I went around killing people. And that was pretty sweet. And then never again. I've never gotten Jason again. You could play it offline, but it's not a campaign mode. So what I mean by it, it's still the same scenario. And the scenario is simply survive the night.
Can you play as Muffin?
You could play as Muffin.
Lick my muffin, you Ben bummer.
And Gordon, of course. Those are downloadable content. I'm kidding. You
Gordon
can.
Yourself?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Dave wants to know if you can Gordon yourself.
Yeah.
In the game.
That's exactly what I wanted to know.
No, but literally, it's terrifying because like you don't know where he's going to be, and he can sneak up on you. And he's got like different powers that make it a little bit scarier. But the music is great, the atmosphere is great, but it's repetitive. I mean, it's literally the same scenario, different maps. Survive the night. So either by escaping or by killing Jason. Solid game, but I want a campaign mode. I would love a campaign mode. If they could somehow make that, or a single, like, I don't know, something that you could play and progress through. As is right now, I'd say 7.5, 8 out of 10. And I'm being strict because if pure nostalgia, 10 out of 10. But I'm trying to be honest about the gameplay factor. And I like it. It's fun. It took me a little bit of a learning curve. I wouldn't say it's as plug and play as some other games, but again, hopping on, I was in a game within 20 minutes.
Nice, freaking gaming! Wow, good for you.
Which is why my movie watching has taken a huge hit.
Go ahead, B. What about you? What have you been doing?
Well, for 2 weeks after our last recording, actually 3 weeks, I did not watch one single movie.
Wow.
Oh, wow, man.
One single movie for 3 weeks. All I did was watch a lot of old TV shows. Just caught up on TV shows that I wanted to watch. And the minute New Year's hit, back into movie watching. I decided that this year I'm going to keep track of every film I watched this year. Horror, non-horror. And I'm making it a habit to go through my collection and watch everything in the collection that I haven't seen.
Nice. Are you going to get one of those fancy letterbox things that everybody has to do?
Nope. I'm keeping a Microsoft Word document, and I'm just writing each movie down. I'm averaging one a day right now to start.
Really?
Yeah. It's been a slow month, so I've been watching a lot of old horror and non-horror.
Do you have anything to report? Is it like any first-time watches, or has there been is it just anything that comes to mind, or have you had, like plans? Like, I want to watch this tonight, or...
No, I was actually... One of the lists we're doing tonight, our top 10 films featuring cults.
You mean 20, I hope?
What did I say?
10.
Top 10.
Top 10? Yeah. Our 2 top 10s of cults.
Our top 18 plus 2, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Our top 18 plus 2. So I decided, since I hadn't seen a lot of the 70s films featuring cults, a lot of those satanic films, I've been watching a lot of those recently. I got in 2, 4, 6, 7, about 7 of them in the last week, just to watch. Some of them were first time. Most of them were first time watches. A couple of them were repeat viewings.
Worth
See if
it?
any of them would pop up on the list. Oh, definitely worth it. I watched some classics that'll show up on the list, and then discovered a few, I guess, hidden gems. And believe it or not, we actually, and when we get to this list, I'll elaborate more, but we actually had 3 films from a year we're going to be covering with 22 shots this year from 76 that could be on the list. I chose to exclude it because we're going to be doing the 76 show, so I kept all 76 films off.
To the Devil a Daughter?
The Devil a Daughter.
Yeah.
Technically, you got The Omen, you got God Told Me To, you got Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
You got some really good films in there, so I just left them off just because I don't want to blow my wad for the 76 show.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm completely different.
Yeah,
I caught up on some, but some are going to be on this list and that list. But I knew what I was going to do for half of them before we even started, because half of that list, I was like, well, I can name 10. Now I got to dig for the other 10. So the 10 I had to stay there because I wasn't as versed. It doesn't seem like any of us were. But,
No, it was tough because I felt like okay, I'm thinking of the films that were popping to my head. Yes, they have cult elements to it, but it wasn't like the cults were like in the forefront. Like, whereas some of these films, especially in like the 70s, it's all, cults and chanting and religious craziness. And so even though some of the films on our list are going to be like, wait, that's about cults. Yes, it is, but it's kind of almost like in the background.
Yeah. And that's exactly the same as my list, and that's okay because then it will get it will be the catalyst to even see more. What I found out is that there's a lot of scary and awesome cult flicks.
Yes,
there is.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. Both 2020 lists tonight were actually a lot of fun to make, and I always talk about, because the other one is top 20 horror scores. I always talk about how that's not usually my thing, the music and the soundtracks. Man. That was a really hard list to do.
Yeah, man, and you know
really
what?
Hard list to
no, everybody's going to have their own top 20. I mean, that's just what it's all about. You listen to it and you're like, oh man, they omitted this, they didn't have that, and with those soundtrack ones, for sure, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to get people going, well, you forgot about these guys, this one, and whatever, because everybody has their own favorites. Like, people are talking about Italian horror films that I haven't heard the soundtrack for, and they're raving about them constantly.
You do a top 20 Italian horror scores on their own.
For sure.
Dave, it's interesting. Immediately how I narrowed it down was I have about 5 or 6 horror soundtrack themes that I have listened to while working out. So those immediately are the front runners for the top spots. Anything I download and want to listen to when I'm working out or just laying around, like that's automatically top of the list for me.
I'm with you, except I listen to mine not when I'm working out, but when I lay down at night and go to bed. And it's funny because I've been listening to them nonstop for like 2 weeks just to finalize it because I had so many. And I show a couple to my daughter because she's around me all the time now. So I'm showing her to her, and she looks at me. She's like puzzled. She's like, "How is this relaxing to you?" I said, "It is relaxing. I can't help it." And when you hear mine, you guys are probably going to know which ones. We'll see when we get there, but it's like, it is relaxing to me. It's not like bombastic. Like, I can't listen to like Harry Manfredini's Friday the 13th. I can't sit down and listen to part 1 at bedtime because yes, there's mellow stuff and there's subtle stuff, but there's also I mean, that's not bedtime material.
What is there?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think you cut out there. Can you try that again?
Yeah, what is it? Icky?
Icky.
Icky shovel?
Kill, mama, icky.
I can't do it.
Sounds like someone's been smoking the icky.
I wish. I can't do nothing. No.
Can't do nothing right, Ma.
I promised myself that as soon as I got the freedom to do it, I was going to watch movies. And people that are on our Patreon already know this stuff, so I'm not going to make a big thing here. But I said I'm going to watch these horror movies that I feel that as a horror fan I should have watched by now. And as soon as we finished wrapping up the 2017 show, I didn't take a break from horror, but I did take a break from anything new, anything from 16, 17, 18. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was trying to get ahead. I said, no, all of January, that's all I'm going to do is watch these horror movies that I have either never seen or only seen one time and deserve a rewatch. So I've done that. I'm going to just tell you guys quickly what they are.
Yeah.
I watched 5150.
Oh,
Elm's Way.
You did see it?
Yes.
The one that was on my Canadian list.
Yeah. No.
The top of it, right?
It wasn't the top one, but it was close. It was close. Okay. Yeah.
I liked it. 7.5. I get a 7.5. So Alien Abduction, I gave it an 8. Found footage. Recommend it to anyone that can find it. It's not easy to find. Alien Abduction from the 80s. It was on TV, one of the earliest found footage. I talked about it on the show. Black Sunday, for the first time, 7.5 out of 10. The Blob.
Bava's Black Sunday?
Bava's Black Sunday, yes. I know that might seem low to some people.
No, that was the first time watch for me also.
Okay, all right.
Oh, because you guys said it was a cult, because it was listed as a cult film. But I think
yeah.
It is. But I actually included it.
Yeah, I did not include it.
Spoiler!
Spoiler alert. I included
it. My number 1.
It was close.
It's my number 0. It's so much better than my number 1. It's my number 0.
So what else? The Blob remake. I give it 8 out of 10. Blue Sunshine, first time watch, 7 out of 10.
Did you see Mr. Watson at the beginning of Blue Sunshine?
No, I forgot he was in there.
Yeah, the guy when his hair falls out, Mr. Watson with the shaved head. Derek makes the joke that looks like Mr. Watson with a shaved head.
Oh, that's funny. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess it does. I don't know. It was my first time seeing it. I wasn't looking for Watson. You know what I mean? I was just trying to. I was hoping it was going to be about acid by the title, and sure enough, it was. So
Yeah.
it was good.
It's a cool film.
Chud. I finally saw Chud. 7 out of 10. Dead Ringers. Finally watched Dead Ringers. Another 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Ooh.
Hold on.
Too slow for you?
No. You know me. I'm fine with slow, but the third act got a little too confusing
Not a fan of
and
vaginas? Is that it?
I didn't understand what all of a sudden happened in the third act. That was my problem. But still a good movie, and I will watch it again. Don't Torture a Duckling. As you can see, these are alphabetical. Like, everything I'm reading here is B, C, D. It goes
I didn't click into that. Did you, Brandon?
Yeah.
I did not at all.
Yeah. I looked at all my Blu-rays, and I'm going through them all alphabetically, ones that I feel I should watch. So, yeah, okay. They are alphabetical. Don't Torture a Duckling, 7 out of 10. Dress to Kill. Had to see if it was a slasher. More giallo than slasher, but I enjoyed it. I understand that maybe the POV thing you could call it a slasher at the end, but whatever. I give it 8 out of 10. I liked it. You know, Duel. I loved fucking Duel.
Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
9 out of 10. Loved it. Eaten Alive. 6.5 out of 10. Evil Ed. 6 out of 10. Ghost Town. Little disappointing. 5.5. Whatever. Funny Games. Highlight. Holy shit. Wow, I love this movie. Definitely.
The original or remake?
The original, you know, I'm not going to go to the remake first.
Honestly, they're both equally as good. The only great thing about the original is that they were actual husband and wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they both died very young, but they were both terrific actors. Yeah,
you said that on the show, and I had to watch it because you were talking about it, and I was like, I got to see this movie. It's straight up.
I saw the remake first, and the remake is phenomenal too. And then I went back to watch the original, and I got like a half hour in, and I'm like, you know what? It's just that film bothers me so much. I was like, I can't watch this anymore because I know what's coming.
Damn.
But it is a great film. It is a great film.
Oh, that's how Home Invasion should be. It's my kind of movie, my kind of ending. How casual they were. Ciao Bella, fucking brilliant. Loved it. 9 out of 10. Loved it. I love that movie. I can't wait to watch it again. The Dead Zone, finally, first time watch. 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, I really dug it. Devil Rides Out, first time watch. 7 out of 10. Blood on Satan's Claw, 7.5. The Faculty, finally watched The Faculty. This is the last one. 8 out of 10. Could have been higher, but something happened at the end which made no sense. Have you guys seen The Faculty?
Yeah, the chick's naked the whole time.
And that girl from 15, I couldn't believe it. That girl used to be on a Canadian show that was on Nickelodeon when I was a kid in 1990, and the show was called 15. And this girl was the lead star of it. And this is like 5, 6, 7 years after when they made this movie, and I hadn't seen that girl in years, and I was shocked when she showed up. That girl, it was weird. And what a cast on The Faculty, huh? Wow, look at that cast. It's amazing. It's ridiculous, you know. But okay, you guys remember what happened in the end?
Yes. I don't. I've seen it twice, but it's been a long time. But I spoil away. I don't give a shit.
Are you talking about post Bleachers?
Hold on. I'm going to kind of spoil it, but not. I'm talking this. Somebody gets away with doing something because they don't inhale something. Are you guys on board with that? You guys know what I'm talking about? They did the test. It was kind of a rip-off of the test and the thing. You know what I mean? Which I was fine with.
She broke the bottom of the thing.
Okay, so it was broke, and I understand, but it would have had to happen right in front of them. How would you not see the stuff spilling out?
Because of what ultimately that thing turned out to be.
What's that got to do with it? The people were right in front of that person. They were all like in a circle. So why would you not see if all of a sudden a bunch of white stuff falls out of the bottom of a pen? That was my problem.
Close-up magic.
Yeah, see?
Look here
it was a fall.
Over here.
It was a problem. The movie could have been a 9 out of 10. That
really?
was
I thought you were going to say something about the end, like, why is he all of a sudden dating his teacher?
No, it was just a cheat. It was just a cheat. It was a good reveal, but it was a cheat the way that they said how she faked it. I'm like, well, that's stupid. I rewound it and looked again. I'm like, I'll tell you what, my daughter, you guys heard that show. She's 11. She would have watched that movie and said the same thing. Any idiot can see. I should show my daughter Black Christmas and not say anything and see if she thinks the same way I do about it. And says, well, how is that possible? I just want to know because
she said it's awesome. She said it's a 10 out of 10.
Well, you guys heard that show. Back to that show. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. She notices things. It can't be helped. I notice things too when I watch a movie that sometimes end up being a flaw. So, The Faculty. Great movie. I think it's the best post-Scream movie there was up until in the 2000s. That had the floating heads on the front and that kind of cast and that type of a look. it was almost like a modern day, like a cross between The Thing and like what's that other movie? Night of the Creeps, things like that. It was a cool movie, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But a flaw. 8 out of 10 is still nothing to sneeze at. But I mean, I just wish they would have not done that cheap freaking excuse there. But whatever. That's that. That's all I got to say. I've been watching movies still, so.
Sounds like you've seen a lot. I mean, like I said, I've pretty much been watching one a day, but I just want to bring up 2 real fast. And one of them, well, 3. One first, Brimstone, because a lot of people, since you and Mark Nato dropped that bomb on everyone.
And Moods and freaking
and now
Troyer. Yep.
Yeah, everyone is dropping bombs on Brimstone, and I gotta check it out. I still gotta check it out. But I did watch Killing of the Sacred Deer, and I was left disappointed. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I needed more because I loved the guy's first film, The Lobster. I even liked his film Dogtooth. I felt like this one needed more explanation to the world in which it's set in, because some of the rules just don't apply to the world we live in. So clearly this is some sort of dystopian future, and I wanted to know more about what was going on.
Interesting. I just took it as this kid had some power, and that was it.
Yeah,
I wanted that he was involved. Maybe
I wanted more. I wanted more.
Right.
I still got to check out both of those.
And Brawl in Cell Block 99. Non-horror film, but honestly one of the best films from last year. Absolutely amazing. Vince Vaughn. Oh my God. Just check it out if you haven't.
Yeah, I want to check that out too. It looks good.
Brutal. Fucking brutal.
Brutes.
I keep hearing that. I keep hearing that come up on, and I heard it on some year-end list. And by the way, that'll bring me to this quick segue about the idea for the other show, because I was listening to all these top 10 of 2017, top 15, whatever. No one did 17 but us, but yeah, that's our gimmick. Nobody should steal it. So that's cool. But I'm listening. I must have listened to at least a dozen, maybe more, because I love listening to those year-end shows in case I missed anything, And time again, people are talking about movies, and someone will have something on their list, and another host on the show will say, "Oh, you consider that horror?" And it got me thinking. I was like, you know what? This has been happening so frequently, probably since I've gotten into the year-end with doing podcasts, more and more with you guys. There's movies every year, and there's a lot of it, and people debate and everything else, and there's even old movies that maybe some people don't consider horror. So I messaged these guys. I said, hey, what do you guys feel? We should do a show just called that. Is This Horror? Or
now,
whatever.
Is this horror?
Now, is this horror? Right.
Now, that's not horror. Or is it?
We're still working on a title.
Yeah. It's a work in progress. We'll get it. But the bottom line is we're going to do a show about that. We're going to get votes on the page and everything else, and get the top 20, and we'll discuss them, and we'll come up with a definitive answer, exploding heads, because there's 3 of us, so that means something's going to have to win. So, but more on that in the future, but look for that. I think it's going to be exciting. These guys seem like they were really, I was just sitting there and the idea popped in my head. I'm like, you know what? Everyone is always talking about this topic, but no one has sat down and said, hey, let's do a whole thing on it, So
we had the Green Room, Neon Demon, fucking Brimstone.
Right.
I don't think anybody questioned the babysitter. They just made fun of you for it.
Did you hear that? JP made fun of me worse than anyone. Then he starts talking about how he ranked his whole list, and he had it at like number 15 or 16. And he saw like 80 films this year. So he absolutely loved it. And he even said to me that it was in his top 10 for a while. And then some other guy had it as his number 1, which was awesome.
Dude. Yeah, and I heard at least 3 other people, because I've listened to tons of podcasts, and they had it in their top 10. Somebody else may have had it at number 1. I'm not positive, but some people love it. So what?
Mick G had it as his number 1.
Mick G.
Nice. And McMuffin.
Yeah.
And McLovin.
McLovin and
McMuffin.
Yeah.
McMuffin.
Woo! Never one up me again. Or try to.
Nice.
No, it's actually a great idea for a show, Dave, because I don't think we take that as seriously as you hear some other people. Man, it creates some friendly debates that sometimes get a little out of control, but it'll certainly be a fun show idea to tackle.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I don't know when we're going to do it, but it's in the future. We're definitely going to do it. Tonight we're doing all Patreon stuff. So we're doing the top 20, which is the Patreon. We're doing another top 20, which is the Patreon, and we're doing a review, which is the Patreon. We're catching up because we were just too busy towards the end of the year, and we told everybody, hey, listen, we had the slasher show, we had this, we had that, the holiday show, and this. So, and everybody was cool, and we have to work something out with Exploding Heads, yeah, with 22 shots.
With us.
Yeah, with ourselves. With 22 shots, after we find their freaking movies, if we ever do, we can do theirs too. And
yeah, we got 2 shows for them. We haven't even come up with one.
Exactly. So we'll get to them when we get to them, But we have top 20 religious, satanic cult movies, horror movies. And that's from Dub Doubles, our homie. Dubby, Mr. Cinema Attack. And the other Cinema Attack guy, Derek B. And he is top 20 go-to horror scores. So there you have it. And our review is Anguish, and that is from Sam Edwards. So those are all Patreon picks. So we're gonna get on that.
All good peeps right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, I may as well do that quickly as long as we're talking about it. The whole Patreon thing, let me put it out there. Patreon. You guys want to pick what we're watching, do stuff like this, please do. If you like what you hear with our show, then consider joining our Patreon subscribers. For less than the cost of a beer or a cup of coffee, you get all access to the page and get to help us continue doing what we love. What's all access? Well, that includes early access to all episodes. I'm a commercial.
I'd rather have half a beer.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay, no, seriously. Early access to the episodes, bonus content, entry into all our giveaways, and the option to choose what we watch and review. And our newest thing is that it's $1 for everybody for all access. For $1, you get to be in the monthly drawing at the end of the month, and whoever is selected gets to pick a triple R for us to do. So anybody that's on the $1 and anybody that's on the $3, the people that are $3 get 3 entries each month. And we make a drawing, and then someone can pick out what they want to watch. And, of course, anybody above that, anytime they want us to do a triple R or whatever they're subscribing to, all they got to do is contact us or ask us. So that's it.
Easy access, man.
Yeah, dude, Patreon. We're blowing up on there, too. We got things coming in. We got more stuff going out. So I'll just give you that information, www.patreon.com/explodingheads. Boom.
Bada boosh.
There it is. And there it is, Patreon. So everything tonight is for those guys. So, okay. I guess we got a couple emails here. They're quick ones. They're not...
No SC ones? Is he still fuming over my rage of Star Wars? I got a bone to pick with that. There's not with him, not with SC, but there's some asshole. I didn't even remember his name. Mike Biff. I think it's Mike. Some guy on our page. Mike Biff. Some guy on our page. I made that thing about Star Wars, the new one, kind of sucking. He went crazy.
Oh, did he?
I gave him your home address. So
the only thing, the saving grace, and I'm going to do a shout out to Tim Ritter.
Uh-huh.
He actually just calmly responded and kept trying to get him engaging in regular conversation. And Tim, you're a better man than I am. That's all I can say. Because I got a few of them, because I don't agree with you, I'm a fucking asshole. I said you're being a bit of a douche. And then I said you're kind of being a fucking douche, I think. And then he's like, oh, I could do name calling too, cum guzzler and this, that, and the other thing.
Cum guzzling.
We're right to cum guzzling. It always goes right to cum guzzling with these guys.
Wow.
Anyway,
what a cum guzzling douche.
It's right before Christmas. What a fun Christmas little conversation we're having back and forth. But anyway. Yeah, it was just a back and forth because of Star Wars, and because I rated it a 3 out of 10, and I have no interest to ever see it again. The new one.
That's fine.
Yeah,
listen,
done.
I'll debate here with you guys on this podcast to do it, but I will never debate online about anything again.
Well,
it's a thing of the past.
I will never post about Star Wars again online because I couldn't believe, the guy was like, well, you're totally wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I'm absolutely not wrong because A, it's an opinion, so I'm not wrong. And then the guy was just calling me an idiot because I didn't get the intricacies of this piece of shit film.
Yeah, that's the trouble with trying to argue online, especially in posts and stuff. You can't. People take it way too far. It's just an opinion.
Yes.
Even when we disagree here, we're busting balls. But at the end of the day, You like what you like.
Well, that's
Who
it.
cares?
At the end of the day, that's all.
If he doesn't like it and you love it, great.
Yeah.
Look at Andrew Schroyer. He likes what he likes.
Yeah,
look
he
at Don,
does.
look at Don and Nelly. Hats off to these guys. They like what they like.
Yeah.
Whatever. Why not? I don't care what people like. They like what they like. I like what I like.
Well, that's it.
And I'm
I
done
have
with
Final Girls in my top 10 slashers. Deal with it.
it. So what? Right. If you don't like the podcast, you don't like somebody's opinion, I guess you could say don't listen. Or there's a better one. Listen and don't take it so damn seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also I was out of my. I shouldn't have even tried to post on a horror site about Star Wars, but it got a lot of fucking responses. Mostly hate, but that's fine.
See, I won't even discuss it, and I have a different opinion than you, and that's fine. Who
And
cares?
just
Yeah, but
just
we'll
so-
talk, and I know you liked it, but we'll talk, and
Right.
and that's a-okay. But I'm not saying I'm right, I'm wrong. I'm just saying this is my opinion. This is why some of the things are absolutely laughable. And I said, my wife and I looked at each other and like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This is happening in front of us right now. This is in the movie. We're not being punked." Like,
I think you should tell Biff though that your New Year's resolution is to be less of a cum guzzler.
yeah. Oh no, fuck that. That was my New Year's
you know what?
resolution was to be constantly guzzling gum.
Like Little
Really?
Kim style?
Yeah.
What? Little Kim? She did that?
Wasn't that like an urban legend or something with Little Kim where she had to have her stomach pumped because she had so much semen in it?
Oh, they said that about Phil Collins when I was in freaking junior high.
And one of the
was it
guys in
Phil
New Kids on the Block had that too.
It's the same.
You guys
I
are
thought there was a
dating yourself.
video.
It was Little Kim for me.
I wish it was Little Kim. I wish I saw that video or something. All right, no, I was getting excited.
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Here's a
Rod
joke. What do
Stewart.
Phil Collins and Christian have in common?
They're cum guzzlers, right? Listen, I forgot to do this for Patreon while we're on it because we have new people on there, and we have to shout them out. So I want to shout them out. Sorry, guys, I didn't get to it sooner, but okay, we have $3 pledges. I guess number 2 tier now, since the other one's number 1. But right? I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to call these tiers. You know what I mean? Because the top tier should be number 1, the bottom should be number 7. But that sounds silly, right? So, whatever.
How about we just say like the $3 people are just slightly better than the $1 people?
Okay, and those people are Larry, Ryan Pascal,
And Biff.
Mr. Venom, our homie from he's not on that podcast officially. Well, he is on Rad Radio, so yeah, he's on there and a couple others, and he's our homie. Then we have the dollar people are finally in, so thank you. We have Brandon Young, we have Dan Collier, and we have one more, and I'll have to drop that on the next show. Paul Garcia, boom, got him. And Jonathan Watkins, Marco, yeah. All right, we're good. We are good. So lots of people joining. Thank you. But I'm glad. I almost forgot because I hate to do that because I say it on the page. We say we're going to say their name on the show, and to do it would be a disservice to them.
Yeah. And when we say that that's the least you can do, we genuinely mean that the $1 pledge is actually the least you can do.
But I love the $1 pledge because if half the people listening could give us the dollar pledge,
Dude,
it'd be very
didn't I
happy.
tell you that I really wanted to push for the $1 pledge?
Yeah.
That was one of my big ideas, I thought.
Yeah, well, you're
The only
bring
one,
it
he's the only one that ever came up with that. Just like Dave with the fucking 6.75. Brandon's like, hey, I got an idea. Maybe we should put out this $1 pledge. See how it takes.
I just feel like I never want to beg people for money, and I've heard so many people say, "Oh, I wish I could give more," or "I wish I could give." You know, I just, so.
I say stop wishing and start giving.
yes, less than a cup of coffee or a beer. Right. $1 a month.
Forget the starving kids. Give to us $1.
They're used to not eating in those countries. If we start feeding them now, that's irresponsible of us.
I can't.
Oh, did I
Okay.
tell you I've been dating this girl from North Africa? We just clicked.
Oh. Wow.
I knew you were gonna do that when you said we just clicked. I knew it. Amazing.
Wow.
Can I read these emails?
Please
Yeah,
do us all a favor. The listeners are begging you to at this point.
Okay. Well, the first one is a retort from the Christmas show. The director, Paul, got back to us because he listened to the review. He gave us the screener. He listened. He got back to me. So This is from the director of Once Upon a Time at Christmas. He said, okay, just listen to the podcast. Firm but fair review. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch it and review it. Best, Paul. Now, here's the PS. Yep, the budget definitely wasn't $1 million. Distributors always seem to inflate them on IMDb for some reason. I think they are worried people won't take them seriously unless they have a seemingly big budget. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to say it's a fraction of that. We looked at it and said this is $1 million budget. They should have done more. It's a fraction of $1 million budget. I'm not gonna, he has a number written here, and he said don't tell anybody. So I said I'll just say that. So it's really not $1 million budget. So take that for what you will. It's less than that, and isn't that weird though that people actually.
Super weird, but what a stand-up guy. I mean, he didn't have to get back to us at all. I kind of shit on the movie. Brandon kind of blew it a little bit.
You know what? I'm still excited to see the sequel. I kind of enjoyed it. Not saying it's not without its issues, but I'm looking forward to it.
He could have just said, what a bunch of fucking assholes, and just left it there. But no, he got back to us.
To me. He said that about you.
Oh, that's fine. I take it.
He said you're the Phil Collins of our generation.
Probably the same guy I was arguing Star Wars with on the line.
Hey, firm but fair. That's us. I mean, we did it. We did the best we could. We said our pros. We said our cons. We're assholes to each other and stuff like that. But we would never shit on someone that sent us a screener. We wouldn't do that. I listened to another podcast that shit all over that freaking movie.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks. I couldn't finish it. They freaking tore it up. And this podcast actually has a website, and they get They get screeners sent to them all the time. They don't seem to care. They just say what they want to say. I don't think I could do
firm
that.
but fair, and they're fat but firm.
I'm not saying I'm against giving honest criticism, even if you truly don't like a film, but I don't know. If I'm being sent the screener, the least I'm gonna do is watch the whole film.
Amen. Yes, dude. I listened to a podcast. These two guys on this show, they've walked out of more movies than I've seen in the past month. I walked out of that one. I can't believe how many podcasts I listen to where they hate every freaking movie. It's like movies that we would give like a 6 out of 10. They give like a 2. You know what I mean? There's so many shows like that. A lot of negativity, but whatever.
I used to be a lot harsher on films until I started this podcast. I did see a 2018 one that just got released on Netflix last night, and whoosh, it's not good.
Man, you know what the crazy thing is about that one? I wanted to see it the minute I saw it pop up. I'm like,
yeah,
this trailer looks awesome, and everyone is shitting on it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're talking about Open House.
The Open House, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is shockingly not good, but I'll expand. I checked, supposedly, so they didn't inflate the budget here. Supposedly it has a budget of $100,000. The movie looked damn good for a $100,000 budget. And I'm like, well, that's good, because I love seeing that. I love seeing what $100,000 should get you. So either they decided, well, maybe they went the opposite route and said, we're going to lower this so people take pity on our movie. I don't know, but I don't know what you gain from that. I'm saying it was $100,000. It had a couple of name faces in there, but ultimately the first half kind of dragged out, and the second half kind of had your head scratching. I won't go into any more details. If we could talk about it on Triple R down the road, I can go into spoiler territory there, but the ending is shocking.
Really?
I kind of give it a bit of a boost in a rating because it decided to do what it did with the ending, but at the end of the day, it definitely leaves a huge question mark.
Kind of like the feature review we're going to do today, maybe. I don't know. that ending? I don't know. Okay.
Totally explainable.
Oh, okay. Right now. I can dig it. All right. Let's get back to this other email.
Sorry.
This is from our... No. Don't you be sorry. Donnie Knob sent us this email.
Is that really his name?
Knaub.
Oh,
Donnie Knob.
Oh,
Hey,
Knob.
Knob.
Yeah, I got my Donnie Knobs over here.
It's Donnie Rings' cousin, Donnie Knob.
Hey, Donnie Knob, over here.
Nice. Awesome.
Sorry, Donnie. I honestly had no clue. Now I am an asshole.
That's all right. Everyone gets their balls busted that writes or messages. If they don't know that by now, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so this is what Donnie says. So just wanted to drop you guys a line and let you know how fun it is listening to your podcast. I've never met any of you guys, but it's like hanging out with my buddies talking horror. Even when you go off topic and start cracking wise, it still holds my interest and cracks me up too, which I can't say for other podcasts. Mm-hmm. Keep up the good work. Look forward to 2018. Rock on, Donnie. Right on.
Oh, well, now
You look like a big asshole.
Donnie, if you could see my face right now.
the shame.
Yeah.
And we've been off track this whole episode.
Yeah.
So
That's a crazy one. The exploded heads get the groove back.
yeah, man.
I honestly, I know sometimes I come out and I say things and they're always proven wrong, but I feel like I'm killing it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes one of you.
Yeah,
What do you think, Donnie Knob?
You're killing our podcast.
I haven't noticed that yet.
No, but thanks, Donnie. That's great.
Yes. Guys, I just remembered something. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and somebody was talking about how the director of a movie called Stomp the Yard is directing some horror movie or something or other. And then it occurred to me, that's why I was thinking Attack the Block was a dance movie. There's a dance movie called Stomp the Yard.
And Attack the Block.
Isn't it sound like the same thing, though?
Maybe it's a versus movie. Stomp the Yard versus Attack the Block.
Is it like is it a horror dance movie?
I don't know, but if Stomp the Yard is a dance movie,
Deadly Dancer.
Couldn't Attack the Block be one too? Isn't it kind of the same thing?
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, but that's why. Hence the confusion. It just popped into my head. I was listening.
No one crushes baby in the corner. I'm still going off of my horrible joke and dance horror movie.
That's okay. That works.
It has not been done. It has not been done.
Well, that could be a bit in the Exploding Heads horror movie, right?
You could have zombie Patrick Swayze come back. Fucking phenoms. No?
Yeah. We could do it. Or a look-alike. I'm down.
Weekend at Swayze's?
Nobody puts Johnny 6 feet under. Too soon?
Wow, it is. Yeah, it's a new year and a new low for Mr. New Blood.
New news. Yes. Okay. Two messages from our homie Jim K, also known as Jim from Toronto. Oh. Toronto.
Holy shit, we're all over the place tonight. Okay.
I'm sorry. I have all the stuff I've been meaning to say to you guys, and I didn't want to say it in chat. I want to say it on the show. You know what I mean? So, do you know a guy, Christian, that's called Oliver Jewelry that's in Toronto?
Yeah, man. He's all over the place. Yeah, I buy your gold. Cash for gold. Oh, yeah.
Do you have good credit, bad credit, no credit? Don't worry. Come to see me if you need a loan. I, Russell, the loan arranger Oliver, will give you a loan immediately. Bring me your gold, diamonds, watches, jewelry, and you will get a loan in a matter of minutes. Oh, yeah.
I'm the cash man. I'll give you money for your gold. Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm the cash man. I'll give you money for your gold.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude. I've been watching these videos with my daughter on YouTube, like Talk Mojo top 10 list and the top 10 most annoying commercials, and that guy came up, and it was like, and they said he was from Toronto, and he spells jewelry wrong, even on the front of the store. He spells it Jewellery or something. Like the store title is freaking spelled wrong. I can't believe it.
But he's expanded. He's had these commercials forever. And there's some whacked out commercials. He's wrapped in one of them. He's green in another. He's silver. He's crazy.
Canada should be proud.
Yeah.
Yeah, Canada. Oh, and speaking of
How's
Canada,
that president of yours?
I want to ask you this. Okay, the plural of Canadian is what?
Canadians.
Okay, how come the Montreal Canadiens is spelled with an I-E-N?
The fucking
Canadiens?
French. That's the French way to do it. Yeah, it's French. Canadien. Yeah.
So if they're in
no one follow the Habs. Just delete them out of like the league. That's it. Done.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just it's always bothered me because I'm a hockey fan. And I'm like, why do they pronounce it like a female version? Like there's Canadian and then there's Canadian and there's Canadiens.
If the skate fits.
Like, right. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
So it's a French-Canadian thing that only they use.
Yeah.
All right, Jim K. Let's get back to him. All right, we went on a whole big Canada thing. Okay.
Anything else you
here we
want to
go,
know?
Jim K.
Jim K.
Hey, Dave. How's it going? Okay, this will be an after episode 50. Yeah, that's for sure. When the smoke clears. Okay. He says top 20 list of the best movie titles of all time. I have a top 10 list compiled on my phone notes, and they decided to disappear for some unknown reason.
Oh, delete all!
Delete all, Jim K. So yeah, top 20 list of best movie titles. Stay tuned. That's an interesting topic, you know.
That's a funny one.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, you're going for some crazy ones, like Death Court Service or whatever. Like, I'm not saying that's going to be on it, but that's just the caliber that you'd probably.
That's not.
Oh, you shoot me one there, browse.
Okay, Attack the Block.
And hold Dick Farm.
No, that's not scary. It's not a horror.
You didn't say scary. You just said most ridiculous horror film titles.
You didn't say ridiculous.
No, that exist.
That exists.
Ant-Hole Dick Farm?
Yes, it's an actual movie.
Yeah,
It's
but
best movie titles. Best.
this
Best,
guy,
not
this
ridiculous.
fucking guy.
Jaws.
Ring Francesca up. Get her back and kick this guy off.
Food of the Gods. Ghost Town. Imagine that, a town full of ghosts. The minute I heard top 10 horror film titles, I'm thinking ridiculous film titles.
I'm thinking good titles like Friday the 13th. Great name for a horror movie. You know.
Really?
So-
I immediately thought comedic wise. Like,
I did
one of the
too.
most ridiculous, funny.
I could give you a top 20 list of I see a movie title and I avoid it, and then I'm shocked why people think they found out. I watched this movie, Attack of the Killer Donuts. It sucked. And I'm sitting there listening to this podcast. I'm like, you think? Gee, are you surprised a movie called Attack of the Killer Donuts sucks? I don't know, but whatever.
Maybe if you watch it when you get glazed. Oh, shit! Donut joke.
Wow.
Oh,
Maybe we should have just retired after episode 52.
we too young to retire. No. Okay, Jim K. Again. Hey, Dave. Another one for the show. Top 10 list of video/film distributor logos. My list. United Artists, 1981, rotating logo with the piano chords. I love that. It reminds you of freaking Rocky movies. You know,
It was also scary. I remember
Yes.
that one. Like, it was it kind of freaked me out as a kid.
It
Too
is
United
serious.
Art. Yeah.
Yeah. Doom, doom, doom. Yeah. It's a little scary. You're right. Media Home Entertainment, the one with the lasers and 3D effect. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Nostalgia, you know. CBC, of course, he's Canadian, /Fox. Love the music. CBC/ is he talking about doom 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 doom? Is that what he's talking about? Fox, 20th century?
No, that's
think
20th Century Fox, but I don't know if
Okay.
that's what he was referring to there.
All right, well, whatever. Thorn EMI, again, the music for it. I forgot Thorn EMI's music.
Ain't that a prick in the side?
Orion.
Did you prepare for tonight?
This is all improv.
Yeah, oh no, we can tell. We can tell.
It's an improv kind of night, right? Orion, rotating stars and music again. That's good stuff.
That is a good one too.
New World Pictures, the red slices of a planet Earth. You know what? I always thought that looked like Freddy's fingers. It reminded me of Freddy's fingers.
I remember that in front of Hellraiser. That's what I always remember that for the Hellraiser films. The first two, anyway.
Good call. Yep. New Line, the film strip and music. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, I like that. Paramount 1980s, of course.
Oh yeah, that's the token one. I actually like what Paramount did with it when the newer one where you're following the stars and they skip across the water. But yeah, the old school Paramount one was great.
Good evolution with them. But yeah, the old school with freaking Friday the 13th movies. Oh god.
Yeah, man.
Amazing. TriStar Pictures, 1983. The white horse running and jumping into the logo. Yeah, that's
another one that scared me because it's a white horse, but it's just the music and the build up, I think, and then da 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 da.
It's not like you're doing Rocky for a second there. Da-da-da.
It always comes back to fucking Rocky.
Yeah, it does. Good old Rocky. Right on. Of course it does. Blumhouse, the pan of the room with the creepy girl, floating book, etc. I like that.
My wife actually hates that. Funny enough that you mentioned that. I remember watching because it's at the beginning because did they distribute Get Out?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so when we were watching Get Out together, she was like, "Wow, what the fuck is this?" I'm like, "It's the Blumhouse logo."
Yeah, come on.
And she's like, "It's horrible."
She hates everything Blumhouse.
It's just a logo. It's just a logo.
Okay.
She loved Get Out. Loved it. She goes, "How's this not your number one of the year?"
Whatever.
That's what she told me.
We like what we like, you know?
Yeah.
Honorable mentions. RKO Pictures. Antenna of the Rotating Earth.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah. Okay.
He does voices and sound effects,
Jim K
Brandon.
knew this was going to get Dave beatboxing and doing all these sound
Fucking Michael Winslowing out here.
Oh, the old Vestron logo. Blinking lights and V looks like a building. What?
And he gets a what? That's an email, Jim K.
A New Year's what?
Yeah, I didn't know that the V looked like a building. That's cool. Okay, so that's that. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim K. Yeah, we gotta get into some 20. So, want to take a break and come back and do the which one first? Cults first. Sound good?
Let's do it. Let's
All right.
do it.
Be right back.
See you on the flips.
All right, we're back. 20. What was that?
That was the sound effect that brings us back in.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought it was my stomach getting pumped from jizz again. I wasn't.
come guzzling.
Yeah.
Okay. Our first top 20 is top 20. How are we gonna label this on the show?
Films
That's
featuring cults. So it could be
Yeah.
religious cults, satanic cults, any type of cult mentality.
Cults.
Right. Top 20 movies with cults.
And we're just doing round robin, right?
Same as always. The,
Right,
the
okay.
first 10, the last 10.
Oh, okay. So I'm going all 10. Here we go.
Oh.
Well, and I'll give an honorable mention because honestly, because I hadn't seen those ones from the 70s and I wasn't going to have time to check any of them out, I at one point had Indiana Jones at the Temple of Doom hovering at my last spot because I'm like, it's not a horror film, but God, oh God, when I was a kid, that scared the shit out of me. And there's a lot of culty shit going on because it is a cult and there's a heart getting ripped out and this, that, and the other thing. But alas, since I'm not allowed to put it in there, my official number 20 is a film called Last Shift. Came out a couple years ago. Came out a couple years ago. I think you guys recommended it to me.
It's a good film.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. Now, the cult stuff progresses as the movie goes on, and you really don't know much about it till probably more the second half. But I really enjoyed this film because it follows, again, a main character in a single location, more or less, which is a police station. And they're transferring out of the old station into a new, and there's like a skeleton crew, pretty much her, that have to close up the station.
Alex is there?
It's-
What?
He's there. He is there. And so that came in at my number 20. My number 19 is a film you may have heard of called Children of the Corn.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. I actually, as a kid, wasn't that fond of this movie. Another one of those ones that I watched and, Malachi, that shit. And then as I got older, it grew on me, especially the first one. And I actually don't mind the sequel, part 2, as well. There it gets a little fuzzy.
Is that what the sequel's called? Part 2?
Yeah, it's funny enough. It's called Children of the Corn. I should call it Children of the Corn 2. There probably is a subtitle, but I can't remember it.
And you like the porn parody, Children of the Cornhole.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. And the break was only 30 seconds. You managed to write a good joke down. It's crazy. And I assume it's going to pop up in your list there. Great performances by, what's-her-face, Linda Hamilton. It's just one of those movies that I think at the time, maybe because it came from a short story, that the movie felt like it was kind of dragged out. However, upon rewatch, it's a fun, scary flick.
It's a good cult because he's great as a cult leader. That
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
freaking Isaac, he's badass. Yeah.
Another one, my number 18 is one of Dave's favorites, The Sacrament.
Excrement?
I like this movie found footage. I don't care if it's a rip off of Jonestown because I thought they did a great job. I thought it was great presentation there. I don't know if we're supposed to be giving ratings with these movies, but if we are, so far all of these are 7 out of 10s. But again, it's the way that they use the found footage here to penetrate Jonestown. The Jonestown-esque. And
Motormouth Jonestown.
also how it does get really creepy. Dave, I really don't know what your hate is for this movie, because I thought they did a really good sort of play on what we know of the story. I know it's not supposed to be official document, and
that's why, right?
It's a rip off.
Right.
If they acknowledge and say this is going to be loosely based on Jonestown, right at the beginning, a disclaimer,
right,
you probably would be like, oh, this is a really good film.
But then I would have known what to expect when you're going into a movie and you're watching a movie, and then all of a sudden you know what's happening around every turn, and suddenly I say to myself, if they break out Kool-Aid next, I'm shutting this fucking movie off, because it's almost like, and I know I'm sounding dramatic, but I don't know another way to put it, especially.
Oh yeah, it's like Russell Oliver. Everything's oh yeah tonight. Great presentation. Again, when shit hits the fan at the end and they're doing the found footage, I thought they played around with that great. I never found it forced or anything. And I know it's not on your found footage list, but this one would definitely be on mine. My number 17 is a film we reviewed once called The Sentinel. I liked it. Again, Balchinian cult. And I mean, we went into way more detail on this too. And I know these top 20s, I always kind of at a loss because I kind of just list and move on. But in this case, we actually did review this on an old episode, so you can check out the back catalog and check out our full review of The Sentinel and why Dave will never be able to watch it again.
Yes, true.
Number 16 is a movie I've watched twice, and not recently, but it's Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. And I actually like this movie, and I think the reason I like this movie so much is I had a friend go check it out, and he came back and said, what a piece of shit. Like what we were talking about earlier. Openly dismissed the movie, thought it was absolute garbage. And, I heard rumors. Remember, Kubrick had passed away, and I think Cruise kind of worked with someone else to finish the movie, but as close as they could to Kubrick's vision and shooting script and whatnot. I love this movie. I thought the score is great, although it's not going to show up on another list later. And it's very creepy and haunting throughout. If you haven't checked out this movie because of Tom Cruise being in it, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you owe it to yourself to check out this film.
Yeah, but Nicole Kidman's hot in it.
And Nicole Kidman's hot in it, too. I forgot about that. Number 15 is Helter Skelter from 1976. Nice. So this one comes in at a 7.5. This one I saw when I was really young. It was actually in the cult section of the video store I was at, but as in cult films, movies that sort of gained a notoriety as they went on, and it happened to be, of course, about the infamous Manson murders. And I mean, it's creepy. The guy who plays Charlie Manson is fucking spot on.
Railsback.
You know that the bit of trivia, if I'm not mistaken, is that Martin Scorsese was offered that role, the director. Martin Scorsese was offered the role.
To direct freaking Helter Skelter?
No, to play the part.
Of Manson?
I didn't understand it either. I read the trivia piece over and over. I'm like, I'm reading this correctly, right?
That's hysterical.
Yeah. So when you guys read your list again, I'm going to double check it, and then we'll put it to the page. But yeah, I thought that was weird too. I thought, for directing. But no, it was to play the role.
That's ridiculous, but okay. Especially since Railsback did so well. My God.
Number 14 is a very, very disturbing film called Kill List. And
I still haven't seen it. It's on my list.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
It made your list and you haven't seen it?
Not that it's my watch list.
Well, all joking aside, because it shifts gears completely as it builds. It really does become a totally different movie in the second half. But the way it's presented to you is also kind of discordant as well. It's not as linear as most movies. But it's truly a haunting piece, and the stuff at the end is very tense. And that's where, like, the movie's great throughout, but the ending it's a great payoff. Not for everybody, though. Again, same friend who hated Eyes Wide Shut also hated Kill List when I recommended it to him.
Was it Vince?
No.
Got you.
So number 13 is The Believers. Always loved this flick. Martin Sheen. Have you guys have both seen it, correct?
I've never seen it. It was on my
Years
list to
ago.
watch, but I haven't seen it.
Years ago,
Yeah.
I need to rewatch it.
If you have a fear of spiders, you probably want to stay clear.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright.
Number 12 is a segment from VHS2 called Safe Haven.
Nice.
It is great.
Everything from the presentation, because we know VHS is an anthology film of found footage segments. If you did know that, then I just told you, but I don't know where you've been. And this probably is the best segment, definitely out of the second film, possibly out of the trilogy.
It's quite possible.
The way they introduce the cult leader and what they're trying to do, and then when they actually get to the compound and how it plays out, shit literally hits the fan. Well, actually, it doesn't literally hit the fan. Shit hits the fan, and it's an all-out bloodfest. A minor misstep with the creature. I don't want to say too much, but yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10, and it is definitely something. It's only like 35 minutes long, so it's a quick watch, and you'll probably revisit it over and over and over again. And then my number 11 is Holy Blood, or I hope I'm saying the right name, Santa Sangre.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now-
Jodorowsky.
Yeah, all of his movies, like we're talking about the dude that did Tag and hair extensions. Why can't I? So Sonny.
Total Science?
Sion
Yeah,
Sono.
Sion Sono, Sonny
That's
Bono.
not Sonny Bono.
My new Sonny Bono.
Just like him, all of this guy's flicks are worth checking out. There are head scratching moments throughout. Lots of stuff to decipher and to figure out. Never a dull watch, but just something that it's almost an experience. Now, I've seen this twice, and I got to tell you, it's a crazy fucking movie. I'll say that it might be his easiest movie to follow compared to like The Holy Mountain and some of his other movies, but it's definitely an acquired taste, not for everybody, but the payoff is great, and I gave this a solid 8 out of 10 as well. And if I'm being cryptic, it's because, again, when we're doing these list movies, I don't want to spoil anything.
No, that was actually really good, because I remember us doing these 2020s and we just sort of read through our list real quickly. So I feel like you definitely gave a lot more description than I'm going to be giving. But
Well, I was worried because I always think I go too quickly, so I try to walk that fine line. But that's fine. I'll go quicker next time. That's for sure.
I'm gonna be you tonight. I'm gonna be like number 20, number 19.
Well, you know what? Let me just say one thing about that. What I like about these top 20 shows is that every time we do them, at least I know what happens to me is you guys mention something, and it's a lot of times a movie that I forgot to put on the list or one that I haven't seen, or and a lot of times I forgot to put it on because I didn't interpret it in that same manner, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that would be a cult. You know what I mean? So I love doing these kind of shows because it gets me.
Yeah.
It'll make me rewatch films or sometimes watch films for the first time. So I like it. It's good stuff.
Cool.
All right, I'm up next, and I'm not really as prepared as I thought I was, I guess, because I don't have ratings or as
That's
detailed.
okay. Wing it. I don't either.
I think I skipped some ratings anyway.
Yeah,
It
I don't
really means
have
nothing.
ratings for these. I just say check all these out. Coming in at number 20 is a made-for-TV movie from 1973 called Satan's School for Girls, which features two-thirds of Charlie's Angels, as Kate Jackson and Cheryl Ladd in it, about a young woman investigating her sister's suicide at a private girls' school and finds herself battling a satanic cult. Nothing shocking, but it was just a fun little made-for-TV 70s Satan film that I recently checked out. I was like, you know what? It deserves a mention. I'm putting it at number 20.
And the made for TV didn't take away from it.
You could tell it's made for TV. It's very tame, but I still found myself enjoying it. Number 19, House of the Devil.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this one. This one continues to grow on me. It really does. I know it's only at 19, and my order here is crazy, but, like, once I got to, like, my top 10, I knew, like, these were the 10 that I wanted to really point out there. But House of the Devil's a great film. We've talked about it before. Check it out. Number 18, and this could easily be higher, but End of the Line. A fantastic film. Super underrated film. A film I would talk about if I ever did a Hidden Gems Part 2, because it's a supernatural film, and then has cult elements with it.
Within the subway system, correct? Is
Yes.
this the one? Okay.
Funny
Yeah.
you should say that about it being a hidden gem because we did that on the ABC's A Hidden Horror. So
Oh,
Brian,
did you?
yeah,
Nice.
Brian brought that one to the table, and it was the first time I saw it, so it was a little over a year ago. And good film, definitely.
Yeah. Number 17, Brotherhood of Satan. Another first-time watch for me. 1971, I believe. Good film. Killer kids.
Is that the one with Is there a famous actor in that one?
No, are you thinking of
Jesus.
Are you thinking of Devil's Reign with Ernest
Yeah,
Borgnine?
Ernest Borgnine, and then there was another one. Peter Fonda was in it or something. Or is that the same movie?
Oh no, we'll get to that one.
Okay, see, I kind of ignored those films because I figured they weren't as horror as I thought they would be, and I opted to watch a few others, which they will show up on my list. So I'm glad I watched them. The movie you're talking about, is that the one that has to deal with senior citizens and kids, or no?
No, this one, Brotherhood of Satan, takes place with a family getting trapped in this town where nobody can leave, and the children are being recruited to worship Satan.
Okay.
It's really a cool premise because they're like stuck in this town, and this one family tries to leave the town, but every time they try to leave, their car breaks down or something happens that forces them back. And like
Right.
everyone's aware that they can't leave the town, but they don't know what's going on or what to do. And it's a really cool film, definitely worth checking out. And that's from 1971. That was 16. That was 17. Number 16, Jugface.
There you go.
Nice.
Had to be on here.
Good stuff. Underrated.
Yeah, very underrated. And
Yeah.
actually, one I didn't get a chance to rewatch this time, but I knew the minute we said cult films, I'm like, this one popped up immediately in my head. So definitely go and check that one out. Number 15, Children of the Corn. I'm with you, Christian. Never as a kid was it like one of my favorites, but it's definitely grown on me, especially when you see the sequels.
After part 2, which I think is subtitled "We're All Ears," but I'm not.
Oh, corn. I got
You leave the comedy to me.
Oh my god!
He couldn't even spit it out.
You leave.
Well, no, he was laughing.
I thought you wanted me to leave.
I'm waiting for him to stop his freaking
Cum guzzling?
joke. It's cum guzzling. Number 14, one of the scarier cult films on the list, The Conspiracy.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, Christian, I turned you on to that one, didn't I?
You did.
That's one I want to pick up. I don't own that one.
It's a fantastic
Number
movie. Yeah.
Number 13,
Canadian.
Starry Eyes.
Nice.
Another beautiful.
If you enjoy Neon Demon, Starry Eyes is a film for you.
This is more in your face as far as it being a cult film.
And
You know?
and for those that argue to the Neon Demon not being horror enough, Starry Eyes would be definitely more horror centric.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
Well, no, just because there's the assholes out there that need to have
Fuck
that.
'em.
Fuck 'em.
Number 12, The Witch.
Yeah.
Get a clackety. Yeah, had to put it on there.
Good call. Thank you.
And number 11, one of my favorites, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Holy fuck! I didn't even think about that for this. I don't even know why I didn't think of that.
This must be the season of the witch. Oh, and honorable mention for Secretariat, because that is one scary cult.
The horse?
Is he a horse or a cult?
A colt? Oh, I got you. Okay. Like
Fuck that.
Indianapolis.
Fuck that.
Wow! Wow!
Worse than
Whoa.
comedy.
Well, good stuff. And I'll tell you what, I had Halloween 3 on my list, and I decided to bump it. I wanted to be... There was a certain few movies that I didn't want anyone to take any umbrage with. So, even though Ellen Grimbridge is in the movie, I don't want anyone to take umbrage with Grimbridge. So, I took her off the list.
Sure, umbrage is a real word.
Yeah, oh, there it is. Yes, and Grimbridge is a real character. And I love her. But I bumped it off the list because, I just didn't want anyone to say anything and think it didn't count. But then again, when you hear a couple on my list, you might laugh at those two. So, as much as I love Halloween 3, I left it off. But there's not much left for me to say here. Okay, number 20, Jugface, has already been brought up. So, Lauren Ashley Carter, one of her earlier roles. Great stuff. Larry Fessenden, interesting story with the sacrifice and the jug faces, if you will. And Interesting film. Check it out.
Not to be confused by Jizz Face, which is Brandon Orley's story.
Jizz Face and Cum Guzzler. Here I am with these two guys. What is this show?
Those are our dance names when we get back the block.
And all these movies, up until I tell you when, are right around the 7.5 area. So, number 19, Lord of Illusions.
Yeah!
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Again, thanks, Christian, for making sure Dave and I watched the correct version.
I got it on Blue.
You've had 2 years to go to check it out again.
I got it on Blue now. I got the Shout. Yeah, dude, the Scream Factor. That's unrated. I got that shit.
Yeah, but he screwed us for the feature review.
True.
50 episodes ago.
Yeah, I know. But he still turned me on to watch the movie again, so I got to get him.
He turned you on? He doesn't do much for me.
It's my shirt.
Number 18. People are going to be surprised that where I put it, I think, because everyone seems to really love it. And something happened the last time I watched it where I was watching it and I was enjoying it, but my wife was in the room and I was thinking to myself, you know what, if she was paying attention to this movie, she might look at me and say, what the fuck are you watching? Because
I know what it is.
Musical numbers and weird shit and everything else. And ultimately, The Wicker Man, I think, is a good movie. Wow. But I think if you take away that ending, it's just okay. And I know that might sound sacrilegious to some people. I still enjoy it. It's on my list. I know I'm a little lower than most people think about it.
I'm taking Greenbridge or Umbridge or whatever bridge with this.
Okay, fair enough. But you know how there's an expression, a movie is only as good as the last time you watched it. And just the last time I watched it, I just got a weird feeling. And I've seen the movie several times. It is what it is. 17, End of the Line. I thought I'd be the only guy that had this movie. But
wow, man, I gotta check this out.
Yeah, good stuff.
I know so much about it. I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, it starts off one way and ends up going into something else, and then you're left pondering, and it's a thought-provoking.
It's a real thought-provoking film.
You know, and Jugface, it was another one that we did on ABC's A Hidden Horror and End of the Line. So that's 2 right there. So good stuff. I'm pimping that show tonight because, hey, we covered them. All right, number 16, first time watch, The Devil Rides Out. Good stuff.
I wanted to get to this one.
You didn't want to watch that, remember? Because you thought it was about a devil riding out on a horse.
Because of the title. Yes. If a title turns me off, I don't want to watch it.
I think it was a cult. He rode out on a cult.
That's a double cult film.
That's how you tell a cult joke.
Christopher Lee. Good stuff. You know it's a cult right away. 5 minutes into the film, you know what's going on. And it's good. Something about these older films, sometimes, and I mentioned this on the Patreon video when I discussed Black Sunday, and I know what my issue with these films, I don't want to say issue, but it seems like older films, everything is a little bit too convenient. And I think for that reason, I can't make any of these movies like 10 out of 10s. Like people praise these older films, like I said, Black Sunday, or maybe The Devil Rides Out. There's just some things that happen in these films that, I don't know, it just seems too convenient for me for filmmaking. Like nowadays, if you saw that, people would pick it apart. But those movies, they don't seem to. And I don't know. But anyway, it's a good movie. 16, that was 16, pardon me. 15, The Conspiracy. Really good
Nice.
Mockumentary type film with an excellent conclusion.
Oh man, it's so scary that
Isn't it? Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
really
God.
cool. We should cover it someday, maybe. That's good stuff.
I would do that.
14. This is a first time watch, and it really impressed me. Blood on Satan's Claw. It's a period piece. Very cool. Very well done.
I watched it as well for the first time, and I was actually, it just missed my list, but I was actually very impressed with it as well.
It was good. I mean, I ended up liking it more than Devil Rides Out, and I was just—it's just my type of film. It was just
Sleazier?
the way sleazier, definitely, and a real cult. And that girl, Madonna Mia, yeah, and she's of age. She's playing a schoolgirl, but you know.
Yeah,
she's
there were a
period.
couple of girls in there that were.
Right. Oh yeah, but it goes places. It's good stuff. 13, House of the Devil. We've already said that, of course. 12, Starry Eyes. That's been brought up, and 11. Member berries and all, The Void. That's a cult film.
Another one I wasn't even really thinking about and I just mentioned in the last episode about freaking cults. I'm a fucking idiot,
buddy.
No comment.
So I'll tell you, they're like 8. They're like 8.5 area. You know what I mean? They're a little higher than the ones below it. But there I am. All right.
I can't fucking believe I don't have the Void on this list.
I can't believe it.
I'm a fucking idiot. Well,
Your
that's
list is now void because of that.
null and void. Number 10, The Conspiracy. It's on all 3 of our lists. Beautiful movie. Love it. Mockumentary and all. You definitely check it out. Great found footage cult film. Number 9, Kevin Smith's Red State.
Good call.
Once again, I read a review that was against it from the get-go, maybe because Kevin Smith directed it, didn't want to have anything to do with it, and they just tore it to pieces. I went in and I loved everything about it. I loved the way the story unfolded with the guys, the prank, and dude from Tarantino films that was also in Tusk. I'm not doing him any service now. I think he passed away, but he's absolutely phenomenal as the actor.
Michael Parks.
Thank you.
Yep.
And he's incredibly creepy and engaging as the leader as well.
That's a great film. In fact, I thought I had it on my list. I was just looking. I'm like, I know I have this on my list somewhere, but it's not there for some reason.
Isn't it funny? And me with the damn Void or other things. But then that's what happens sometimes with these things. I juggled this list around. I was trying to put them in the order of the ratings and everything like that, and ultimately it ended up at number 9. Number 8 was Starry Eyes. We brought it up. Low budget, a little like some amateurish parts, but overall it plays out, and the ending is super creepy, and it's like kind of like a lower budget Neon Demon, as you already mentioned, I think. But don't let that take it away. That actually adds to its charm. It works for the movie.
Most people prefer to the Neon Demon.
Yeah.
We're the minority. Yeah.
I give it 8.5. Sorry, out of 10. Sorry, guys. Number 7 is House of the Devil. I've blown this on the show before. All I know is I talked about it because I know BC hates this movie with a passion, and it's a solid 9 out of 10.
We reviewed it.
Yeah, love it. Slow burn and all. Love it. I don't care if the girl's walking around the house for a quarter of the movie. It works for me, and it adds tension. Great flick. Number 6 is The Invitation. Again, we did a full review of this. Brandon absolutely loves it. I think it was his number 1 of last year. So I don't know if there's going to be too much surprise. I can't even spit out what I was going to say. Too much jizz in my mouth.
Stutter much?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be too much of a surprise when he has his number 1. But yeah, great flick. Definitely worth checking out. 9 out of 10.
And rightfully so.
Number 5 is the Wicker Man. Kind of like Dave. I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, I have it significantly higher than Dave does. I give it a 9 out of 10. It's incredibly creepy. It is slower paced, but it's fucking weird too. And if anybody's checked it out, obviously Nicolas Cage rocks in this. Obviously, I'm talking about the original and not the Nicolas Cage remake.
You have to be in the mood for the film. I get it, because it's not. There's films lower on your list that you'd rather watch. But in terms of encompassing a cult film or a film about cults, I mean, it's one of the best in terms of that. For sure. And I'm very high on the next one, as you guys both know. And my number 4 is Lord of Illusions. Nice. Phenomenal movie. And again, it another movie that really uses the cult. It might go into a little, I guess, cliche territory with the way that they deal with the cult aspect of it, but it's still creepy. It's still incredibly creepy. And if you do see the director's cut, we'll have that extra 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and there's a whole sequence there of the cult followers killing their families off to head back to the leader, and it's absolutely chilling. Number 3 is Suspiria. Nice. What can I say? Another, and I'll say almost perfect, but I've given it a perfect score, Dario Argento film. And the reason for that is the imperfections actually work for him. I know that if that sounds wacky, it is wacky, but I said the same thing about Opera, where the whole fucked up ending with the mannequin ending, if you remember, the mannequin ending, I still give that movie a 10 out of 10, as I do Suspiria. Both of them are classics. Suspiria is the closest thing to like a living nightmare, I think, and very dreamlike. The use of colors, phenomenal movie. I think I'm preaching to the choir here with our audience. 10 out of 10, like I said. Christian, I think it's pronounced Manicarino.
Manicarino. Yeah. Was that what it is? I think it was Manicarino. Mannequin. I think we used both, actually. And then number 2 is a movie we also did as a group, and that's Rosemary's Baby. And I gave that a nice, chunky 10 out of 10.
Chunky.
We all blew it. although a 1968, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was 1968, the movie, other than the fashion, doesn't feel dated. It actually still plays out beautifully. And when I was researching these movies as well, and other ones that I may have missed, I think a 76 film, which I'm interested in checking out, is the sequel to this. Whatever happened to Rosemary's Baby, whatever happened to... I can't wait to check that out. I don't care if it's shit. I want to check that out. And my number one film should come as no surprise. It's Martyrs. 10 out of 10. The cult aspect of this is done quite differently from some of the other ones we've spoken about, but it's a cult nonetheless. And this movie is a sucker punch to your soul.
Yes,
Ooh,
it
how long
is.
did you work on that one for? Oof.
I was going to try to work hyperbole into that too,
Hyperbole.
because fuck hyperbole.
The Hyperbole is next week because the week after that's the Super Bowl.
That's right, baby. The hype train. Right.
There be my list.
No, a lot of repeats, so I should be able to breeze through my list pretty quickly. But at number 10, I've got Kill List.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be checked out. Number 9, I don't think anyone's going to have it because I'm not sure if anyone considers it horror, and I consider it encompassing of all genres, but I had to put it on here because it's just such a fucking phenomenal film, and that's
I know.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. I never saw
Oh,
it.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's a genre mashup again. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone would probably normally put this on there, but I had to. I love this film so much.
it's got
No.
gore, and it's got a cult aspect.
Yeah, yeah.
Hot Jizz just show us
Number 8, VHS 2, Safe Haven.
Yeah.
You too? Son of a bitch. I didn't put it on because it was a short. Damn it. Good call, though. Great one.
Yeah. Number 7, first time watch for me. I'm glad I finally watched it. Black Sunday.
There you go.
I'd never
Yeah.
seen it. Man, great atmosphere, great performance from Barbara Steele, great set pieces. It definitely has a little bit of a slower pace to it. Those older films just do.
And convenience, buddy. Convenience.
Yeah.
Trap door at that one scene. This guy and this girl meet. They fall in love instantly. Just, I'm not complaining. It's
I think they were working with like simpler ideas back then.
Yeah, I guess so.
I was embarrassed I had never seen it, but it really was a great film and one I look forward to revisiting. Number 6, one I had seen before, revisited. Man, what a fucking great film. Race with the Devil. This is the Peter Fonda film that Dave was referencing earlier. Man, phenomenal. Check it out if you haven't. Such an awesome build-up. Such a great climax.
It's horror for real? I just figured it wouldn't be horror, but I figured it'd be an action flick. You know?
Who wins? Who gets the gold?
Oh, shit.
I don't appreciate your attitude. Yes, it's horror.
Okay.
I consider it horror, yes.
Oh, fair enough.
Number
I trust you.
5. Number 5. And I don't know why I put this at number 5. I just decided, you know what? I'm not going to go conventional because it's been number 1 on so many lists for me. Martyrs.
Yeah.
I just felt like, am I really going to have Martyrs at my number 1 again?
Fuck you. I thought you were making a dig at me. Because I did have
Well,
it.
it's kind of a dig at you. You know, it's simpleton.
Oh, okay, whatever the invitation.
Number 4. Suspiria.
There you go.
Yeah, already been talked about. I'm sure Dave will blow it in a few minutes when he has it as his number 1. Number 3, The Wicker Man. Like I said,
Cool.
Films I've mentioned before that I'd rather watch over The Wicker Man, but this encompasses everything that a film about cults is and should be. Number 2, wise ass, The Invitation.
I eat my jizz.
Eat your shit.
I don't know what to
Love it. Such a great film. Oh my god. But I felt like my number 1, having withstood the test of time, like you said, Rosemary's Baby, just edged it out, especially for now, given the fact that it's just been such an amazing film for 50 years.
Yeah, it's 50. Are they going to put something out this year?
Well, it's already got a Criterion release.
remake.
I know it does. It does have a Criterion. Oh. Yeah, it does have a Criterion already, so who knows? Maybe another... You would think that for a 50, something big would happen, but...
Yeah,
We'll
maybe. You never know. Maybe on June 6th. 6/6.
Oh, there you go. Maybe. I could dig it. All right, well, okay, that's coming up. Good. I got movies on my list that other people don't have, so there are a few left. So that's cool. And I did not put on, like I said, the Safe Haven I think is great. I mean, if I wanted to include it, it'd probably be in the top 10. I'd love that. Okay, number 10 is a movie called The Guyana Tragedy. It's a TV movie, 1980. This is the Jonestown story, but it's fictionalized. It's a great film. It's not easy to get a hold of, but it was a miniseries. It's really good. Powers Booth is phenomenal as Jim Jones, and it's really a must-see. If you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend you watch that film. It's pretty eerie shit, especially since it's based on reality. Number 9, Paranormal Activity 3. You could say the marked ones because you see more of the cult in there, but it's really introduced in the third, and it's my favorite in the series, so I'm throwing it in there. They end up turning this series into a series about a cult.
That is true. Why am I forgetting all this shit?
Well,
Because you're stupid.
You should have different lists. It's good this way. I anticipate. When I make these lists, hoping they have like 10 that you guys don't. You know? You forgot too.
It never dawned on me before. I'm just stupid.
What was the Jim Jones one? Because I had read about that one, but I'd never seen it.
The Guyana Tragedy.
And then you said it's a miniseries?
Yeah, it's like 3 hours and change. There's another one that came out in '79 called what's it called? I think it's just called Guyana and then something else. But this one's the superior film.
And then Michael Jackson did that cover, Dirty Guyana. Oh, God. Cancel. You know what? I'm just going to fire myself from the show.
Please.
I'm going to wake Frankie up now.
Yeah, go get her. I'm telling you. You need a
Huh? What? Huh? She's probably listening going, it's my time.
Right. Just waiting. Yep. Okay, number 8, Lords of Salem. Much like Black Sunday, same idea here. Someone is accused of being a witch. They're killed, and then these people are trying to recruit them later. Actually, this is more of a cult than Black Sunday, because you see them a lot more going on. But I'm glad I'm the only guy that has it, because I do love that film. 7, Helter Skelter, another film that I love, but we have watched it many times, and we'll watch it many more times. Another miniseries. 6, The Invitation, and these movies here are all 8, 8.5 to 9, and then the next 5 are all 10 out of 10s. Number 5 is Martyrs. Number 4 is The Omen. Definitely cult.
Yeah. Like I said, I just excluded all the 76 films.
Gotcha.
But really didn't have to.
Yeah. Okay. Martyrs, The Omen. Number 3, The Witch, of course. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Rosemary's Baby.
I was right.
Number 1 is... Yes.
There's a lot out there. I'll be honest. I was nervous making this list because I don't feel like I've seen nearly enough, but I really got into it, and I'm looking forward to checking out more.
Yep, this was tough.
Yeah, it's like you guys had like Halloween 3. I didn't even think of putting it on my list. Even like The Witch, I kept off. Lords of Salem would have been on there for sure. I took those. Didn't have those on, and the Paranormal Activities. Didn't think about it because I'm stupid, evidently, but. But I'm looking forward. I don't know if the miniseries has started yet or if it's coming soon. But Waco, I think it's out soon.
Yeah, I think it's starting very soon. Actually,
6-part, 4-6-part. That looks intriguing for sure too.
Wow, I didn't even know it was
4 or 6-part.
4 or 6-part. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, Brandon, did you? Yeah. You said cults, American Horror Story, because I have watched it since. You said you were like maybe halfway through it. You said it was your favorite. How do you end up on that show?
You know what? I just feel like this has been common with American Horror Story for me, is that the ending always just feels a little bit of a letdown. It's still a great show. I would probably rank it in my top 3. I still think Murder House is my favorite. Okay. And I still have to see Hotel.
Oh, okay. Well, it ends up being my number 3 as well. I really enjoyed it. Hotel is my favorite. Asylum is my second, and that now Cults. So I quite enjoyed that. Evan Peters is fucking extraordinary.
Oh, he's phenomenal in it.
He is, man. He's a great actor, and he's that show now, straight up. He's the lead dog on that show. Yeah. So yeah, I just thought of it because I knew you were talking about it a little while back. Okay, should we take a break or go right into our review?
Oh, let's go into our review.
Let's go into our review. Okay. We are going into our review. Ooh, this movie.
Give us the deets!
Our feature review is Anguish from 1987, directed by Biggest Luna. I don't think that's how you say his name, but it sounds funny saying it that way. You are not the biggest Luna. Goodbye. Okay.
Nice.
A controlling mother uses telepathic powers to send her middle-aged son on a killing spree. That's the B's description. It gets a lot more complicated than that. I wouldn't say complicated, but a lot more detailed than that. Yeah, engulfed, engorged. You might want to have that looked at. It's so engorged. So,
Booms.
this was a first-time watch for me.
Me too.
Well, and I told you guys on chat, and I'll tell the audience now, that I had this on Laserdisc. I love talking about my old school Laserdisc collection, as you all know. And not only did I have it on Laserdisc, but I got it for like $1.95 or like $2.95. It was like super cheap. They just had it like in a get rid of section. And I'm like, what? I've only watched this movie twice. And watched it twice with the Laserdisc, and then I rewatched it for this show. There was stuff that I forgot. I remember obviously the premise, the film within the film, and the chaos near the end. But there's a lot of other things that I forgot in the movie. Like how fucking annoying Poltergeist Zelda chick is in this.
Oh, I love her.
I swear the first time we see her, she's like, hurry, catch him. Hurry, catch him. Hurry. I think they repeated it like 3 times. I'm like, the editor's just fucking with us right now.
Yeah,
Well,
we did spend 10 minutes trying to get the bird.
Be careful. Don't hurt him. Slowly. Be careful. Don't hurt him. Slowly.
I do just listen to a half hour of Christian doing that instead of reviewing the film.
But that's a precursor to what comes later. That's how she has to deal with her son. She has to do all that repeating because yes, it touches into her hypnosis and the way she handles him later. Because later on, she's saying the same shit. Because yes, she is saying, catch him. Oh, and then later on, she's like, what the hell is he saying? Spiral. Feel it. It makes you strong. Feel it. It makes you strong.
That's Brandon's pickup line.
Kiss it. It makes you strong.
But no, this is a great blurring of the lines of reality movie and using film within a film as sort of like the launching pad for that. And again, for the first 20 minutes, if this is your first time watch, you have no clue of film unless you've read the description. You don't even know it's a film within a film. The first 20 minutes plays out straight, then suddenly we're in an audience. And that is ingenious.
I was going to say, this wasn't spoiled for me, but I knew this was the film within a film, so I'm even though I hadn't seen it, I'm waiting to see how it's going to play in. And I thought them bringing it in 25 minutes into the film, I'm like, it wasn't jarring. It was just like, oh, I was just getting into that storyline, film, and then they give me this new film, and I'm into this film. But ultimately, I'm like, man, they had 2 good films here, but neither one, like, I wanted more of both. I wanted these to be like 2 separate films.
I think the reason for that, Brandon, and I'm speaking for you here, so I'll tell you why maybe I didn't. Dave, maybe you might find this too. So the audience where the girl's scared and the friend is there and everything like that, the killer that ends up getting introduced is really creepy, but he uses a gun to kill everybody, which I think he should have been emulating the murders within the movie. And it's funny, if you read some descriptions, they just say he is emulating the murders in the movie. He's not. He's just shooting people.
He's emulating the story of the mother.
Yeah.
When he's doing the killing. But he's not emulating the method of kill, which is a great idea with cutting out of eyeballs. And why a gun? Yeah, I'm 100%. You said everything I was going to say, because that is an issue with it. It would have been better served as a horror film
without the gun, because it's always gunplay with this guy.
I could see having the gun to shoot the people at first that are working in the theater. Yeah. Like, oh, you've been here so many times. It would be hard for him to, jump through the glass and freaking stab somebody, and it would be too much. And it's in the middle of the day.
It's a good jarring kill too. So I agree. Like, those two kills for sure. Because it's
That's
creepy
it.
when he gets dragged into the washroom and everything. But then it should have been more knife play.
100%.
Or scalpel play, yeah.
I'm into that. A little bit more knife play.
And breath play, yeah.
Breath play.
Yeah. Especially for you.
How about this one? You guys ever see See No Evil?
And Hear No Evil with Richard Pryor and...
Yeah, great.
That's a good one too, but I'm talking about WWE Studios with Kane as the killer, the slasher.
Yes.
2000.
Yes.
1 and 2.
But yeah,
I never saw it too.
It was junk. I think somebody watched this movie, and kind of did a thing in See No Evil, because you kind of have the same thing, a domineering mother and the whole eyeball thing. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, Jacob Goodnight.
And I thought this was very demons. Did you guys get demons from this? Like,
Certainly.
I mean, I understand the literal, the movie takes place in a theater, of course, but even with like the action happening on screen and how it's affecting the people in the theater as well.
Yeah. Fade to black a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fade to Black I actually rewatched for the slasher show, thinking it was more slasher, and it ended up not. I found it was a little bit more of a character study. I didn't really classify it so much as slasher, but I see what you're saying for sure.
You know what? You guys really brought up. I mean, it was obvious, but like it didn't bother me until you just recently brought it up. Was the gunplay, because I thought the gun aspect of it made it creepier as a horror film, especially in today's society with movie theater shootings and just shootings in general. I was just like really creeped out by it. But you're right, because everything was emulating The Mommy, which is the film within the film we're watching. I guess he could have brought a scalpel in there.
Well, he should. He saw the movie so many times. He definitely.
Oh yeah,
that was the whole thing. Like that was the one thing, and I think that's what keeps it from not getting a higher rating from me, because I really enjoyed this. I read a lot of people thinking this is boring. I don't think this is boring at all.
I had a lot of fun with this.
It shifts so like you're 20 minutes with that beginning. There are some things that are kind of almost Brian De Palma-esque, like the way that he's trying to go overboard with his camera, like not angles, but like that whole swirly thing. A lot of metaphors. I think he was trying to use a lot of metaphors with them. I don't know how successful he was, but for instance, he used pigeons and a raven. Snails are in it. The spiral itself. Like,
Fucking trippy.
I want a fucking seashell that I can grab and listen in on conversations.
Yeah,
That'd be fucking hilarious. That'd be awesome.
That was a big seashell.
Well, I was trying to look at it and like the metaphor of the spiral and how it's used throughout, and it's used with the snail shell and with the seashell and with the actual twisting of the spiral and to heighten anxiety and everything else, and obviously with the hypnotic overtones of it as well. And then I was looking at like the snail, the raven, and the pigeons, and I was just trying to draw stuff from it. Like the snail was a little weirder. I mean, other than it being linked to the spiral, the shell being like a spiral. Like, was it supposed to be like the sun, like almost like a metaphor for the sun? He was slow, and that was allowing him to be controlled by the mother. And they're like, I didn't know did you guys pull anything else out of it from the snail metaphor?
I started singing Nelly Furtado every time the birds flew away. I'd be like, I'm like a bird. I don't know why. That's what happened. I really wasn't diving as deep into it as you were. Usually that's my thing too.
Right.
Well, they had some of the pigeons. I thought the pigeons were just like, why? Like, did they have the pigeons locked up? And I thought because usually, again, I just said because usually they're free and they're pecking around and they're all trapped in there and they're not even outside. They're trapped within the house, and I guess that was supposed to be like him, and the snail was like him.
They're trapped in the house, and then they're trapped in the cage within the house.
So it's like a movie within a movie.
And yeah, it's a cage within a cage.
Ba-ba-ba-doosh. No, I'm being serious.
We should ask Maya Angelou because she knows why the cage bird sings.
Oh my God! See, just when he gets onto something there, he starts fucking cracking wise. Raven, the mother, it flicks like because you go from the pigeons and you go from the snail, and then when I'm talking about that scene where it goes all balls out crazy, where it's very very trippy and it's spiraling and whatever. I think the mother flashes to a raven and then flashes back to the mother, and I was like, okay. I was like trying to pull shit out of it. Maybe I am digging deep. I don't know. But
that's fine that you're digging deep into that, but you're digging deep into The Mommy, which is the film within the film, and Anguish, which is everything else that's going on outside it. We don't get enough of our killer here. Obviously, he's seen the film too many times, and the warning at the beginning of the film, which is actually which actually plays into a nice little twist at the end with us,
Yeah.
is something that affects him and makes him go crazy. Because you see everybody falling uneasy, getting queasy, getting nauseous, getting lightheaded.
But this is why I think it's explained, even the end. And I'm assuming, Dave, you're talking about the ending where she's in the hospital, then Wheelie Wheelie comes in and says, "And you thought I was all in your mind," or what's his exact line?
No, he
says, "I am in your mind."
I am in your mind.
I am in your mind.
Cherry on top. I like it.
Yeah,
I like the end.
But you know why?
Well,
because it's a
that's
movie within a movie
right.
again. Because the credits roll within a movie theater.
Well,
So
that's
we're
the thing.
actually
We're the movie.
Yeah.
We watched a movie within a movie within
a movie.
And in the movie, the killer on the screen of Mommy goes into a movie, watches a movie of his own. He watches those whole dinosaur movies.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is a very we're talking about how Friday the 13th, Jason Live was a very self-referential movie. Came out it came out the same year. No, the year before, I guess. 86. This came out 87. This is when self-referential wasn't really, big. You had a handful of them, but it wasn't really big. Very self-referential, and Big Ass, whatever his name is, was having some fun with it, I think. And that movie within a movie within a movie aspect is the cherry on the top, as you were saying. It makes sense within the film reality that he created, but it even really doesn't have to because of the way he ended it. But I think he didn't go too balls out, so it keeps it still in the realm of plausible.
He made it a fun film but like you did with the spirals and with the animals and all that you could really dive in and analyze if you really wanted to. Because even the whole idea that it's almost like a social commentary on how ridiculous it is that a film could affect a human being. And, that's always a topic of conversation, especially it was big in the 80s, that, horror films are for the devil. They're going to make you want to kill people and stuff like that. And in this case, he's making a film where that's exactly what's happening.
True, and there's real commentary in the film between characters. The one girl doesn't like horror movies. She's trying to leave, and her friend won't leave. So she's making all these comments about not liking horror.
And her friend is being very rational, saying, "Oh, it's just make believe." At the same time, just enjoying it. She's really into it. She's like, oh, here's a cool chick. Like, she loves horror films. She's into it, but she's just like, it's make believe. I get it. It's make believe, but clearly, it's not affecting her the way it was affecting others.
I didn't look deep into it. What I saw was maybe I should have. It just didn't occur to me to. I just saw a movie that was like batshit fun. Like, I was laughing on anytime the birds were going free, and the way Zelda Rubinstein was acting, it was just funny to me because I love her so much. I love Poltergeist so much, and I'm so familiar with her. To see her in a different role, in the way she was acting, it's kind of like comedy to me. And I mean, she's endearing to me because of the Poltergeist movie, and so I love her. But then later on, when shit's going crazy and it gets all trippy, and I'm just thinking, I'm like thinking, this is the trippy movie, and I wish I could have gone to a theater, because playing with the theater aspect at one point in my life, gone to a theater, tripping on acid, and watch this freaking bizarro film, because it would be a cult film. Cult, not in satanic cult like we're talking earlier, like, a cult film, freaking whacked out shit that I think if it had some exposure, I think there is an audience for it. But unfortunately, this movie is buried. I mean, we don't know. You can't find it. I remember seeing the box when I was young, and it had that spiral on the cover, and she was on it, and I should have rented it, and I didn't. At the time, I might have hated it, though. I was younger and probably not, open to that. Because there's that one scene where you see a snail on top of a fucking raven. And I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm like, what? It never occurred to me to think of that as any type of
metaphor,
having artistic merit. I just thought it was just trippy shit that they were throwing at the screen just to weird people out, but.
And I feel like that's what it was as well, especially given our opening scene, which is, that whole creep across saying, don't talk to people you don't know during this film.
Yeah, but Christian's saying that maybe the thing that we saw as just being nothing, there might have been meaning. Why the bird? Why the repetition? And shit like that.
Oh,
and there are
absolutely. I don't know, and I don't know if that's a benefit or not.
I don't know if we're giving it too much credit or not, or it's just fun. I mean, that shell, that's fucking weird, and she obviously has some type of power, Then there are some funny things though, like when the guy when he's with that one girl and he's working at the place, because he's an orderly apparently, but
Yeah.
his mother thinks he's a surgeon. That shit's funny, but he puts the contacts in her eyes and they're burning. And then when he does the switcheroo later and goes to her house, what he says is like, "Oh yeah, so and so." He goes to this woman's house who's rich and has a gated freaking place, and he gets in so easily just by saying, "Oh yeah, she grabbed the wrong thing at the doctor's office today." And the guy says, "Oh yeah, that sounds like her. Come on in." I was like, what the fuck? He just strolls on in and then freaking. And by the way, fuck eye close-ups. I was cringing in the beginning.
I have Texas Chainsaw, just like we talked about with Texas Chainsaw. I hate eye close-ups, and there's a lot of queasy, moments in this movie.
That
for
one
sure.
scalpel under like the first layer. Ooh.
Lots of eye play. Lots of eye play.
I could never wear contact lenses. I just couldn't do that.
Oh.
I just couldn't even imagine fucking with my eye like that. Oof.
I'll tell you what my biggest laugh in the movie is when that woman comes back with all the popcorn. She's like, Georgie, have some popcorn. Georgie.
And he reaches around.
The killer reaches around to grab some popcorn. And he's just wolfing it down behind it. It's like,
Of course, you got excited when he gave the guy a reach around.
Georgie.
And then he chloroforms her.
Yeah.
He doesn't shoot that one.
Eventually she would have looked over.
No, that's in the movie. That's in the movie.
That's in
That's the
Mommy.
Michael.
Okay.
That's the Michael Lerner guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a minor complaint. Towards the end, I watched this movie twice because last time I watched it before bed and I was kind of dozing off, and the third act it just got batshit, and I wasn't able to a few times tell what was part of this reality and what was part of this reality, and I was getting a little boggled. So I watched it again today before the show, and this time it was easier. But I don't know if it was because I was tired and because I'm just me and I can't pay attention, or it really is that confusing. But
To me, my one criticism is since they pulled the first movie within a movie reveal so early on,
yeah,
they probably could have given us another 10 minutes to develop maybe either our killer's character or maybe the girls, just a little bit more setup, maybe leading up to them arriving at the theater or something.
Well, the movie was already playing. Like, it would have been difficult.
But like demons? You want the hooker and the freaking guy blowing coke off her tit? And
She took off that mouse and scratched herself, Candy.
Right.
Because of that scratch, she became a demon, an instrument of evil. Sorry.
You're already spreading your legs. Right. What do you say to her? You're already sewing your hooch? I don't know what the fuck he said to her.
Don't untie it. Cut it.
Holy shit. She's a friend of mine.
Yeah. Guy's fucking amazing.
So you really want more of that, B? You would rather see that girl and her friend driving up to the
more
theater
of it.
and discussing horror?
It needed a little bit more development within that storyline.
Yeah, but the reveal made more sense to see it the other way, where all
Well,
of
of
a sudden
course,
they're
there
in
would
the
have had to
theater.
have been some sort of trickery done, some tomfoolery.
Yeah.
My thought process was that the one that's freaked out by it, that leaves to go to the washroom, gets freaked out in the washroom, and comes back to tell her friend. If she was that scared, she would have just left the theater at that point. They make her go back in, and then her friend convinces her, well, no, if I'm going to go look, you're staying to tell me what's happening in the movie. So that was the line that's thrown in there to make us believe as to why she's staying. But she was so affected by the movie that she would have been like, yeah, fuck that, and left. But they had to get the movie, I guess, progressing somehow. Yeah.
What bothered me was after the other girl got outside, she goes to that guy and says, somebody's fucking shooting people in the theater. Why wouldn't his immediate thought to go? Why wouldn't you go get the police right away? You wouldn't believe somebody if you're standing
Bob
outside?
had a meeting. He was late for an appointment.
Yeah, and he could have been a lot quicker by just going to a phone booth, as he says later, and calling the cops. Or I'm gonna go back to the place and look around for blood and see.
Remember the good old days of the '80s when you used to be able to joke about a movie theater shooting?
Yeah, maybe it is a sign of the times that nowadays you wouldn't give it a second guess.
I think that's the thing. I think that's why I'm torn, because I started seeing this. I'm like, oh, this is fucking disturbing. I want more of this because this is so relevant to shit that goes on today.
And I wanted more knife play. And I got to tell you that if they ever did a remake, or this just makes me want to make a slasher in a theater. Because we got popcorn, but then that didn't. That one had the fun in the movies within the movies of that movie, but then the slasher element didn't really get played out. This one, it has the slasher elements there. I wouldn't even really call this a slasher film, though. It's funny enough, eh? Because it's sort of a mental character study of that guy. It's not a straight-out slasher film.
That is funny enough, eh?
Yeah. Would you describe it as a slasher film? Because a lot of people say this is an intelligent slasher.
Well, it starts out as a slasher film. I mean, it's the Mommy's a slasher film. Anguish isn't a slasher film, or whatever.
Correct. Good
whatever
call.
that film is. Yeah.
You're right. The Mommy would be a slasher film. Anguish, not 100%. Oh, how about that poster for Mommy? Total freaking ripoff of Psycho. You see that? That poster that they had for it, the house and shit, and the light window. Yeah, that was good.
Well, it's like Psycho, but the mom was alive too. So I guess that was an in joke in itself as well.
Man, I wish I'd known you were gonna bring your deep analytical thoughts to this one.
Yeah,
I really would have dove deeper into this. After a while, I was just like, okay, they're just kind of fucking with us, and the joke's on us.
Christian just wanted to talk his ass off tonight. He spoke more than he ever has before doing a freaking 2020.
I barely have any notes. Everything I said is written down. I was just like, usually
those are notes.
Yeah, well, but there's barely anything here. Usually it pages of shit, but I guess it amounts to nothing is what you're trying to tell me. Fucking skunks.
Yes. The first skunk of the new year.
Skunkaroonie. Yeah.
Skunkaroonie. Skunkaroonie.
Oh man.
No, a fun time. I'm glad it was recommended because it gave me an excuse to watch this again. I didn't have any nostalgia hold on this movie. Right. I remember thinking it was good, but actually I would come in a bit higher than good.
Oh, really now?
Yeah. I'd say very good.
Are you coming? Very good. Okay. I'm rating this very good. Half head explosion.
Yeah, I'd say half head explosion. Half head explosion. For sure.
Well, if we're doing it that way, yeah, I'll say half head explosion too.
Yep. First time watch, half head explosion as well.
Right on. Three double H's. Yeah. Half heads, you know? Cool. Well, thank you, Sam. That was definitely good. We got to see it. We had to hunt this sucker down. It's not easy to find. I had a bootleg copy that I got from that Stumpy's Discs years ago, but I couldn't get it to these guys in time.
I own the Blue Underground DVD, but I just hadn't gotten around to watching it. I've had it for a while.
There was a DVD. See, okay. My mistake. I thought VHS was the only format it was in.
No, it has a DVD, and I watched the DVD, and I'm looking forward to revisiting
and laser.
And laser, yeah.
And a laser. Clive Barker's got it now, I think.
At least he signed it.
Are we giving number ratings or no?
For me, it's a 7.
That's exactly what it is for me, a solid 7.
And I went 7.5.
Right on. I can dig it. Anguish. All right. Let's break, and then we got a 20, and then we get the hell out. Sounds good?
Hells yes.
Bellissimo.
Yeah. All right. Flips.
She put on that mask and scratched herself. Get it? Because of that scratch, she became a demon. An instrument of evil. Like they said in the damn movie, you heard them. Right?
Yes.
We gotta stop it. Believe me, we gotta stop the movie.
All right. Okay, now this was a hard list to do. Matter of fact, both lists for me, I don't know how you guys feel, but both lists were hard. The first list was hard because I didn't have enough material. I wasn't as knowledgeable as I wanted to be, and I had to, come in using tricks and watch new movies to make a solid, 20 that I was comfortable with. This time, cutting down to 20 was a motherfucker. It's like I had too much knowledge. It was like 40 that I started with, and
sure.
I own so many, and I legitimately listen to them. So it's not like I'm flashing back thinking about movies I like and the scores as I'm watching them. This is top 20 go-to scores. We're just going to shorten it to the top 20 horror scores. But when he said go-to, I was glad he said that, because to me, that's what I'm going to sit down and listen to. And that actually helped me to leave some off, because there's some great soundtracks, like in the movie itself, but if I sit down and listen to them, it doesn't have the same effect. And
that's weird. I don't even think I paid attention to the fact that it was go-to scores.
Well, that's okay. It just helped me to minimize. It helped me to make eliminations. So I'll probably be leaving some things off that you're going to have on. I think
you made a great example though before with Friday the 13th.
Oh, with listening to it, sitting down, I still got to give it. Well, we'll get to it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like the Italian ones, for example, and I'll just say this one time before I start, but with the Italian soundtracks, a lot of them, with Goblin and Fabio Frizzi and guys like that, to sit down and listen to them, because they're movies, and if you're talking about giallos and things like that, they're not straight up horror, where half of the soundtrack isn't really horrific, and it's different. Like, it could be like a regular horror type soundtrack, and then it'll go into some fucking rodeo song or something, or some romantic interlude, and because of things like that, I end up leaving them off the list. So it actually helped. I still appreciate and respect those things, and I'm not going to say the titles now, but I mean, I left some of them off just because of that, because some things are so jarring when you're listening to it that it's not enjoyable to sit down and listen to them the same way as it is when you're watching the film. Where the ones on my list, I legitimately sit down, put on the earphones, and listen to beginning to end. So that's what I went with. That's how I did it.
It makes total sense.
Absolutely.
Let's hear.
That's my top 10. I mean, there's one more thing I want to say about these lists. Well, listen, because the reason we chose this, I actually chose it because Dubby gave us 3 to choose from. And believe it or not, this was the one that was going to be the easiest, because this is what he threw at me the first time. And I wish more people on Patreon would do this. Give us a choice of 3 and we choose the one that suits us best, because it's going to be a better show that way. But initially he said, I want to do a top 20 to choose. I said, okay, what do you want us to do? And he goes, okay, top 20 Asian ghost, top 20 trauma, or top 20 satanic cult films. I haven't seen fucking 20 trauma films. It's not my cup of tea.
I could have done that one.
I could have do. Hey.
Okay, I could have not. Top 20 Asian ghost. I think I have watched the most Asian ghosts between us 3. I don't know for sure. And could I make one? Yes, but it would be more like I'd be settling on like the last 5. You know what I mean? So I thought this would be the best one to do. And
you picked wisely.
Yeah, see, that's what I was trying to do for the best possible show. And the same thing happened here with Derek. I ended up choosing because I knew, and when I tell you the other ones that he wanted to say, you would say the same thing. He was thinking of what was his? What were the 3 he gave me? Because he gave me 3 as well. Top 20 go-to horror scores. Okay, that's what we chose. Top 20 body horror effect scenes. And top 20 what the fuck moments in horror films.
What?
Yeah.
We could have done the other two. But I think that this one was more fun and it didn't require as much involvement. You guys agree? Do you think that I made the right choice?
I was very happy with these choices.
As was I.
So let's do this now. Top 20 go-to horror scores. Okay, number 20, Candyman, Philip Glass. Very unusual, but very good. There's really no other horror soundtrack like it, because Philip Glass kind of has his own sound, if you're familiar with him, and it's lots of music box stuff and lots of vocals, lots of choir singing, but in a gothic way. If you've seen Candyman, you probably don't need any more explanation than that, but really good, slightly repetitious, but ultimately it's put together really well. Number 19, The Omen. I mean, what can you say? This is something that's it's been parodied, it's been sampled, it's more so the main theme than anything. But Jerry Goldsmith knows what he's doing, and he sets the tone. And if you're familiar with the movie, you listen to it, what's going on when you're listening as to what scene is in the movie and what's going on. And Jerry Goldsmith's just fantastic, and the chanting is just freaking legendary. Number 18, It Follows, one of the better recent ones, and we've kind of had a resurgence like the last 5 years, and I'm sure we're all going to have some stuff on there. But It Follows, very good, very Carpenter-like, dark, deep, freaking great listen. For me, I listen to almost all these at bedtime, like I said before. And to me, they're mellow. To other people, they might not be mellow. But whatever, I just enjoy the feeling they give me. 17, The Neon Demon. Most of it's Cliff Martinez. Fuck. Great stuff. I mean, we just watched the first 2 minutes of freaking Neon Demon and the intro scene and the music. And it's a lot of that stuff. If you watch the film, it's just as you see on camera. It's a great listen. And there's a couple original songs, and they actually work besides his actual score. 16, The Fog. John Carpenter is the master. I just love his style with soundtracks. And The Fog, it's weird because it kind of sounds like Halloween in certain ways, but expanded on. But it works. And if anybody can make something sound like Halloween, it's going to be John Carpenter. It's number 15, The Witch. Last year, I chose this as my soundtrack of the year. Number 1, Mark K. I forget how to pronounce his name. Carcoven. What is it?
Mark Nato.
Mark Nato. Yes. Mark Kovenin, I think it is. Or
I thought it was just Corvin.
I think it's Corvin. Thank you. Yeah, Mark Corvin. Excellent stuff. So atmospheric. You can just put that on, and it's dark and freaking. It's spooky. It's just a fantastic listen. Number 14 is Creepshow. A big fan of that, as everyone's heard before. In this movie, the score fits right in with the movie. And one thing I'll give them props for, when you actually listen to this soundtrack, they wisely only put in maybe 2 minutes worth of the lonesome death of Jody Verrill, and only one little thing that sounds a little comical, because that's known as the comic one of it. But as far as comedy reasons, but it's a good listen. John Harrison does really good. He also did Day of the Dead, and it was kind of tough for me to leave that off because I love that soundtrack as well. But ultimately, it just works better for Creepshow, and I just think it just has better compositions overall. But very good stuff. That movie's just blows my mind. And that's just it. All these movies on there, a lot of my favorite movies have my favorite soundtracks, and I guess that just makes sense. Sometimes soundtracks are very important to the movie, especially in horror. Number 13, Maniac from Rob, the remake, of course. Fucking A. I love it. I mean, it finished ahead of the other recent ones I love. The Witch and Neon Demon and It Follows are all great ones. But recently, that's the one I've been going to bed with the most. It's just been my favorite as of late. And it's just been my cup of tea. But it's brilliant.
I've heard some people say that the Maniac remake is probably the best slasher out there.
I've heard a guy say that once or twice. Yeah, I have heard somebody's.
I think he's from like Finland or fucking one of those lands.
One of those lands.
Far, far away land.
Dude, Maniac, it's awesome. I love it. It's piano compositions, synth, everything. It's dark and creepy, like most of this stuff is, but just great listen. I brought this up on the Slasher Show. Speaking of it, number 12 is A Nightmare on Elm Street. I said it was overlooked. And I really discovered my love for that movie more so than ever this past year. Watching the movie, as we talked about on the Slasher Show, and the soundtrack not getting the respect it deserves. It's a really great soundtrack start to finish. There's a couple 80s cheesy bits to it, kind of, but that's also part of the charm. But I think it gets overlooked when you talk about horror soundtracks. So, 11, Christine, John Carpenter. What can I say? He's great. Another very atmospheric, mellow type of soundtrack. Recorded around the same time as another one that's going to be on my list later. And just tremendous stuff. I just think John Carpenter is fantastic. So, as many do. Nightmare on Elm Street. I did not see who the composer was. And I may have forgot. And I'm not even sure if I know who it is offhand.
I got it. Charles Bernstein.
Is it Bernstein?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry for slighting on that. I should have known that. Okay, but it's a great job. Okay.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah, I should have. Bernstein's a freaking good composer, man. Okay.
A lot of Jews.
Shockingly, Dave, either what we've done is picked the best, and what we're going to see here is these must be the best because there's a lot of repetition, or we're just aligned because we're the motherfucking exploding heads. But some of my picks are in the same position as yours.
Really?
Some of them I booted. I booted Christine because I love it, but I had too many John Carpenter things here, and I was trying to even the playing field a bit. But he's fucking phenomenal. When I realized it, in fact, it was in my list at one point. I knocked it out, and I even gave the runner up to In the Mouth of Madness, which was by John Carpenter and Jim Lang, and that's my runner-up. Nice. And my number 20 is officially Videodrome. Howard Shore. I love the movie, as everybody knows. This score is a beast unto itself because it's almost experimental music. So think of experimental film, experimental music, like mishmash of sound effects, weaving in voices and filtered voices, as well as a score that you hopefully know and love from the movie Videodrome as well.
Howard Shore. He
Howard
always
Shore.
works with Cronenberg, doesn't
Yeah, he did a good chunk, if not all of his films. Number 19 is Under the Skin, and that's by Mika Levi. Levin. Or
I left it off because I'm not sure if it's a horror movie, and I won't watch that movie, but I do listen to it at night, and it's awesome. So
It was my number 9 of 2014, so I counted it as horror.
Yeah, that soundtrack is phenomenal, and I've listened to it over and over and over again.
Oh boy. I won't watch it, and you could probably guess why if you've seen it, just from something I've heard that's in it.
Yeah, and it's real too.
I know, that's why I'm not watching.
And I hate to I'm going to be using the terms again, haunting and beautiful, because it is a nice, beautiful. It's a good combination of both of those in the soundtrack. Number 18, It Follows by Disaster Piece.
Disaster Piece, that's it,
So It Follows was like you already mentioned, a good throwback to the scores of the 80s, typically John Carpenter, but managed to be its own beast.
It's what your wife calls your penis, a disaster piece.
Yeah. Or a beast. Actually, neither.
I made the joke at the wrong time, right when you said beast.
Number 17.
Dude, I wish we could do another. I'm sorry to interrupt. I wish we could do another top 20, just main themes. Because for me, listening to these, there's a lot of movies that have an excellent main theme, and then the rest of it's just okay. It's almost like when a band puts out one great single and the rest of the album is just okay or sometimes shit. I've noticed that, and I'm not going to shit on anybody, but do you guys know what I'm saying? Could you imagine? You know what I'm saying?
It's like that band Fish, right? Like
Oh, fuck. I'm talking about soundtracks.
Dave, I didn't do soundtracks. I went by main theme here.
You just went main theme?
Yeah.
That's not a score to a movie. These are go-to scores. This isn't go-to main theme.
You better get cracking.
Nah. These are the main score that you would hear when you would watch like the trailer to the movie.
That's all you're thinking about when you think of a score to a film.
So Dave and I did it right again. Sorry, Derek.
I'm glad I interrupted because see what I just exposed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna listen to the whole soundtracks here. I don't have time.
I did.
For that.
Well, no, but you've seen the movies and you're familiar with them. I mean, you can't just go by one. Although spoiler, Jaws is not on my list. I don't own it. I love the main theme. I've heard it a million times. It's synonymous. It's a fucking famous thing.
It's not on my list either. Isn't that funny?
Isn't it funny that it is on my list?
Of course, because you're only going by the main theme. So now we can't do the top 20 main themes. Thanks.
We'll get Frankie on that show. My number 17 is something that's going to come up later, much higher for Dave, but it's Halloween 3 by John Carpenter. Again, you already stole my thunder there. Christine and Halloween 3, very similar because they're created at roughly the same time frame, but they're still unique enough. And Halloween 3 is a masterpiece unto itself. Number 16, The Witch. What a haunting fucking score for a haunting movie. That brings me to number 15, which is Masks by Sebastian Leverman. And that I still, ever since I saw that movie, that theme is embedded in my head, and I love it. And I love the way that he plays with it, and I love the other tracks on there. And I have Jason Lloyd to thank for allowing me to hear the rest of the soundtrack as well, other than if I'm just watching the damn movie. Thank you, Jason Lloyd.
Yeah.
14.
How come I don't know about it?
14 is Phantasm, 1979. It's such a phenomenal soundtrack. Tell me that doesn't just bring chills, make chills run up and down your... And again, the main theme, Brandon, alone, even if you're just going by main themes, that should freak you out and be one. And
the main theme is part of the horror score, so that's what...
That's why Phantasm is my number one honorable mention. It pained me to leave it off the list. And I do listen to it, and it really does harken back to the main theme an awful lot. They even go into that freaking groovy one. You know what I'm talking about when they're in the bar and they actually play the freaking theme song, but like a movie version? It's great.
I think that's Fred Myro and Malcolm Seagrave. Again, if I'm pronouncing the names incorrectly, I apologize. Number 13 is A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I was like, A Nightmare on Elm Street and I drew a blank.
Same thing.
I drew a total blank. So then I had to look it up. And then Charles Bernstein, that name never would have been one of my guesses. I totally forgot who did the score for Nightmare on Elm Street.
April Fool's Day he did. He's done a few.
It wasn't. When I saw his name, I'm like, was not who I was remembering as being the composer. Number 12 is Maniac 1980, Jay Chataway. If you go to YouTube right now, because unfortunately Apple Music didn't have this soundtrack, it's on YouTube right now. Like that kind of music box-esque kind of opening, mixed with some of the haunting voiceover aspects with the music underplaying when it says like psychosis in the film. That score, I think, is very underrated because that movie was dismissed when it first came out as just vile trash by most, not all, by most, and it gained more of a cult following as the years progressed. That score is fantastic.
Wow, I gotta check it out, man.
Yeah. Number 11 is The Fog by John Carpenter.
Nice.
Again, his simplistic yet effective use of piano and just beats is absolutely phenomenal. There, I'm saying piano. I'm going by. He might have played it again on synth, but ultimately a great theme and great music throughout.
Nice. I think there's a lot of similarities between all three of our lists, even though me not being a huge soundtrack listener, and that's not really by choice. I just don't listen to a lot of music, but I still wound up choosing a lot of the films based on thinking of main themes because they are sort of synonymous with the scores, with the entire film anyway. So my number 20 is John Williams with Jaws.
Nice.
Yep. Number 19, Goblin, Deep Red.
There you go.
I love the soundtrack to Deep Red.
Yeah. La 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 la.
Number 19, Pino Donaggio, Carrie.
Very good.
Great soundtrack.
I like that soundtrack. I find it's so not what you expect though when you hear the main theme. When you hear Carrie's theme, it's so nice.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about it. It's so childlike and creepy. Number 17, Christoph Comedy, Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
Good themes. See, like Deep Red and Rosemary's Baby, great fucking themes.
Yeah, Rosemary's Baby.
Listen to beginning to end, not as much for me. As much
yeah,
as
see, the theme for Rosemary's Baby is awesome, especially since Mia Farrow sings on it, and just her la 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 is fucking creepy as fuck.
That's good shit.
I'm not sure who did the soundtrack for this one, but One Missed Call from 2004.
Oh, really?
I have no idea who did it.
I'll look it up while you're continuing.
Number 15, Possession.
Fuck off.
The soundtrack to that, come on, the score to that is great.
I forgot about the score to it.
It really is. It really is. I didn't write down who did Possession either. Oh well, I fucked up. Number 14, Philip Glass, Candyman.
Oh, no, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Number 13, Psycho.
There you go.
That's Herman, right?
Herman. And One Missed Call was Koji Endo.
Koji Endo.
Endo.
That was going to be my first guess.
Give me some of that endo word.
Number 12, The Exorcist.
Aha. Are you talking Tubular Bells? That's what you're talking about?
Tubular, man.
Totally tubular.
Goes with the tubular balls that he likes to swallow.
Hey! And number 11, Mr. Charles Bernstein, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ah, there you go. Nightmare on Elm Street. Is that the first one to make all three? I think it might be, of all things. Very interesting.
Well, no wonder you don't have the Possession guy written down. I think it's Andrzej Kornowski.
Yeah, it's got a lot of Z's in his name. I think
it's got the backwards end, too.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to embarrass myself, so I'll just say composer unknown.
Composer unknown.
You don't want to embarrass yourself. You just fucked the whole list up. Embarrass yourself.
My list, I think, so far, to be honest, is the best list. I left off The Fog. I know you guys both had it. I just kept it off.
Well, for themes, you did a good job. If for main themes, yes. Like I said, Rosemary's Baby and Deep Red, they do have great themes and even a couple other great compositions.
I like the music played throughout these movies.
That's fair.
Look, I can't tell you I remember all the music from the movies. You know, I'm thinking main themes, but I like the music that is present in these movies.
No, I can dig it. I just happen to be a soundtrack junkie, and I think Christian is too. So we just
you guys
we
are
thought of it different.
you guys are music junkies. You really are. I do not own any music.
Okay.
I do not own one CD.
I'm as much into music as I am into horror.
I own no music in my house.
Honestly, my favorite things are movies and music.
Right.
My favorite thing is
everything else can take a back seat.
Yep, gotta have those things.
And penis? Is that what you said, Brandon?
My favorite things. Movies
These
and
are a few of my favorite
movies
things.
and penis. Movies with penis.
Guzzling jizz. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. Let me run down these top 10. Okay, number 10, Alien. Awesome stuff. People are pretty familiar with Alien. It's very atmospheric, like most of my stuff is, and it fits that movie perfectly. And I mean, I know that I'm gonna have certain composers on my list, a lot, but Jerry Goldsmith is a master, and he's just, when it comes to the horror genre, he's one of the best. But Alien is just fucking awesome. 9, Hellraiser, Christopher Young. That soundtrack, man, the main theme is so powerful, and you think about
it's epic. It's fucking epic.
It is, but there's so much more to that soundtrack when you listen to it as a whole. That takes you places. That's a trippy, freaking, pretty crazy soundtrack. Yep. It's just hits you on so many levels. But man, Christopher Young, he's another guy. I mean, he's not going to come up again for me, but I recently realized, if you listen to the last show, he did the soundtrack for Sinister, and there's a lot of good stuff there too. And I tell you, he's freaking solid, Christopher Young. But yeah, I think Hellraiser is just amazing. Number 8, The Thing, Ennio Morricone I'm going to say with John Carpenter, because from what I've learned about it, Carpenter kind of laid down some things and told him to work on it, and you could hear Carpenter's influence in it. But
Ennio.
Yeah, I mean, Ennio's freaking amazing. I mean, this is the only horror that he's done that I'm aware of, but I could be wrong. Man, just an amazing soundtrack.
It's a phenomenal soundtrack.
Yeah, it is.
Phenomenal.
It's just so, and it just takes you places. I mean, the way I listen to shit, it's just amazing. Number 7, again, he's coming up on the list, and this is Poltergeist. As I said earlier, I'm a huge fan of Poltergeist. I think it's an underrated film, and I think this is an underrated soundtrack, and I think it's Jerry Goldsmith's best job. Maybe because I've seen the movie so many times, and it's such a long soundtrack, but there's certain choices made and certain instruments used that I don't think you usually hear them on soundtracks, in either some of Goldsmith's work.
I think they use a skin flute in that.
Yeah. There are some freaking crazy flutes in there, I'll tell you that. He's got shit going on. Like, I listen to that soundtrack and I know every scene by that specific sound that takes place in that shit. It's a great soundtrack for a great film. Now, number 6, Suspiria.
Nice.
People might think it's low for me, but for Goblin, this is their best one, because I don't listen to every track on it, because there are a couple that stray from the top 5, because it comes out of the gates really strong with like 5 incredible tracks. I mean, if it would have kept going at that rate, it would be the best soundtrack ever to me. But it kind of tailies off a little bit, and Goblin tends to do that. They do different things because they're so talented as musicians. They don't do just horror scores. They can do other things to fit in that movie, and it's just, it's hard to explain. But people that listen to soundtracks, I think they know what I'm getting at here. But yeah, I mean, Suspiria. I mean, the Suspiria track is amazing. The main theme, freaking, just so much shit going on in that. Just an incredible soundtrack. Number 5, Psycho. I mean, what are you gonna say? I think it's underrated. I don't think a lot of people talk about it. But beginning to end, it's really solid. People only think about the shower scene and the opening credits, but I think it's start to finish. It's an amazing soundtrack. Number 4, The Shining. I'll tell you what, this is the scariest one on this list. When you listen to the Shining soundtrack and sit down and give it a listen, it will spook you the fuck out. It's freaking out of control. It's scary. And it's weird because it's different people doing it. It's not, a score by, it's various artists, so to speak, where there's 2 or 3 artists that are there prominently, but most scores are done by the same artist. And I believe that someone else had already scored this film, and they went to see it on opening night, and they were shocked that their score wasn't in it. That Kubrick, being the guy that he was, changed everything and hired other people, and they came in and did other things. So an amazing decision by him, because there's no way it could have been better than it ended up being. My only complaint is when you listen to it, it's one of those soundtracks that takes scenes from the movie sometimes and puts the dialogue in it with the good sounding stuff. Like the Danny meeting the twin scene. It's great music, but I would rather just hear it isolated without the dialogue, as much as I like the dialogue. But intelligently, they do bring it back later without that dialogue, so they kind of make up for it. But some soundtracks will do it to you when you listen. But The Shining is great. Number 3, I'm officially going to pick this because the first 4 in this series are all excellent. The first one starts it off and it's great, but I'm gonna, if I'm going Desert Island style, I'm gonna take Friday the 13th Part 3 is the one I'm taking with me. Very familiar to 1, 2, and 4, of course, but I think Part 3, Manfredini takes it. He takes a few more chances that he never took before, and then of course you got the disco theme in the beginning. You can't go wrong with any of them, and I think it's a groundbreaking. Granted, he ripped off Jaws and Psycho, sure, and they'll admit that, but everything that's going on in this soundtrack is just iconic and excellent, and it seems to be overshadowed by other soundtracks. I mean, you always hear you always hear that, but I don't think people speak about the soundtrack as much. Number 2, the most trend-setting, I think, ever for a horror soundtrack. Probably the most synonymous. You could play it to somebody and they know what it is. John Carpenter's Halloween. Incredible. The reason it's not number 1 is because it's another one that beginning to end, there's a little bit of repetition, but there are 4 amazing sequences in this film, and they do come back, but they do different spins on it and stuff. And the same thing with Halloween 2. Halloween 2, very familiar, where he brings back some of those things, but puts a spin on it with, making it more synth. Just incredible work. I mean, John Carpenter is a master, and it's Halloween. I mean, what are you gonna say? It's amazing. And number 1, yes, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It's my Desert Island album.
Number 1, I'm shocked. I knew you loved it.
He always talks about
Chariot of the Pumpkins. I know, but I didn't realize it was number 1.
Chariots of Fire, The Rock, so many. Listen,
Chariots of Fire.
Did I say Chariots of Fire? Chariots of Pumpkins.
do, 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 do.
That's a good soundtrack too. Yeah, John Carpenter and Alan Howarth, just incredible. Recently I was looking at my iTunes, and I was looking at it on my Mac, which I usually don't do. But if you look at your music sometimes and you look at an album, it'll tell you how many times you played a certain song or a certain album, and you would not believe the freaking numbers for Halloween 3. It is by far my most played album. I think I'm in the 300s or something. And I'll go to bed at night, one or 2 nights a week and freaking put it in. It's my Desert Island freaking horror soundtrack. I think it's incredible work. It's original from beginning to end. There isn't too much repetition going on with the music like there is in other movie soundtracks, and it's a real special thing. I mean, freaking, when I'm dying in a hospital bed, I hope somebody puts it in my freaking ears before I go.
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you. Stick them in there and freaking let me drift off to freaking
Chariot of the Pumpkins.
Good list, man.
Actually, I'm just going to put the movie on and have you watch the scene with the fire marshal talking to no one over and over.
He's just nodding his head.
Just nodding his head. And that's going to be the last thing you see before the lights go out.
Awesome.
Coming in at my number 10 is Jerry Goldsmith and The Omen.
Nice.
You talked about it. We all know about it. I love this. In fact, I love this much more than The Exorcist. The Exorcist is Tubular Bells, but and it's scary. And there's some sound design in The Exorcist. It's phenomenal. But from a soundtrack standpoint, I love The Omen. And the chorus and choir in The Omen is absolutely
that was
bone chilling. Yeah. Number 9 is the Maniac remake by Rob. Again, he took the idea of the 80s and like that synth track, and it created something very hypnotic. There's really no weak links with it. That main theme, dolls. There's so many great tracks in this, and you could listen to the soundtrack over and over and over again and not get bored. Number 8, following in that tradition, is The Neon Demon, Cliff Martinez. This one's grown on me, and I liked it even more than when I saw the movie, because I think I rated this number 2 or 3 last year, gave it an honorable mention, but it's now higher than Masks and the Witch. Just great. Number 7, Lord of Illusions. I brought this up when we reviewed the movie. I absolutely love the soundtrack. It's by Simon Boswell. The sequence alone where Swan is doing his magical routine, and it's the swords, and he's trying to do the escape from the swords, and he's getting stabbed. That set piece, that musical piece alone is beautiful, but the music is great throughout the whole film.
Is that the scene where Adam Sandler pops out and says, "Stop looking at me, Swan"?
Yep. Yeah,
No, that's the scene where the music is playing. 7 swans are swimming.
Once again, it's a laugh a minute, and
It's a laugh.
yeah. Number 6 is Hellraiser. I can't add anything that Dave didn't already say. Christopher Young. Hellraiser soundtrack is epic. Great from start to finish. It must defy the budget, because I don't know what they gave Christopher Young to create this, but you'd think the movie was a huge multi-million-dollar, $100 million production or something like that, by the way that the soundtrack is. And obviously, it was a much lower budgeted film. Number 5 is The Thing. Again, I didn't realize John Carpenter had much to do with it, but you're right. His thumbprint's all over it. I guess they gave it to Ennio Morricone, though, for the actual credit. One of my favorite films, and the soundtrack's absolutely phenomenal as well. Number 4, I love the soundtrack to 1 and 2, but Harry Manfredini, really, I don't think he gets as much respect for this one. It's Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. And I kid you not, this soundtrack is one of my favorites of the series, because what it does is it takes the cues, the musical cues. You get the kill, 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 ma, 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 or ch-ch-cha. You get that. You get all those cues. You also get which is Tommy, 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 kill, 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 very quickly. And so you get the best of, which is carried over from the other movies, but there's some new musical cues here. I think this is the most underrated soundtrack, and I love it. I love this soundtrack. And I don't think it gets
good
respect.
Moments to it.
Yeah.
Like, there is added stuff to it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I did myself a disservice by not listening to it, because when I watch it in the film, there are some times in the film where the director inserted the music in the wrong spots. There's one scene in particular when they go to the trailer park to go visit Demon.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing.
Dun, 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 dun. You're like, where the fuck are they? They're just driving to the trailer. But it's like the scariest fucking music ever. I think they're trying to take you away from the fact that they use the same shot 3 times over for the driving montage to the trailer park. But
Yeah.
I hear you, but the movie, the music itself on its own is phenoms.
Right
which
on,
is the
man.
official term of the night. Number 3 is, of course, John Carpenter's classic Halloween. I almost did the same thing with Halloween as I did with the Friday the 13th series, but I had to give it to John Carpenter because simplistic. Laurie's theme is fantastic as well. We always talk about the dun 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 dun, but Laurie's theme is great. What I wanted to say is Halloween 5, underrated. The movie itself,
I agree.
It is what it is, but the soundtrack is a fantastic soundtrack.
I agree. Between 4, 5, and 6, it's the best soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because he did them all. After he came in on 3, Alan Howarth, and worked with Carpenter, he took the series
He took it over. Yeah, exactly.
And 5, that's the one positive. That's the only thing you could say good about 5 after Part 3. Like, from the rest of the sequels, it has the best soundtrack.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Totally agree. Number 2 is Psycho, Bernard Herrmann. You know what? I'd give it... Bernard Herrmann's phenomenal. I would have loved to put Vertigo on here, but since we're focusing more on straight horror, I figured Psycho had to be the one to give it to. And then my number 1, as I just went and said, straight horror is what I had to give it to.
I know
my number
what it
1 is Requiem for a Dream. Year 2000. when I wrote the review, I said that this plays out more like a horror film than most of the modern horror films that I had watched at that point. So I think there's enough horrific elements in it. But that soundtrack is the most haunting soundtrack, and it's a soundtrack that hit me. When I saw the movie, I was like, all these emotions built up, and it wasn't saying it from the visuals. It was from the fucking music. So this soundtrack was great, and they took the soundtrack, because I don't think many people saw Requiem for a Dream, but they used the music, and this music was used in tons of trailers. I think we talked about this on the show before. It was even souped up and used for high-budget movies and their trailers, like Lord of the Rings style-esque movies. I think it was Lord of the Rings. And they had Requiem for the Dream soundtrack, but souped up. And this is by Clint Mansell, and it was performed by the Cronus Quartet.
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal soundtrack from start to finish.
I asked you about this one if we were including it.
And I said I was.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
I have to listen to it, apparently. I think I said that last time you guys brought it up, and I still haven't, but I will.
A lot of similarities. I have a few new ones, but number 10. I don't know if I'm saying this right, the group that did the soundtrack, but it's Wilka Sky, and it's the Serbian film soundtrack. I fucking love that soundtrack, man. The soundtrack's great. It really is. I know the film is highly controversial and disturbing, but the soundtrack is really good, and I've listened to it on its own. One of the few that I've actually listened to entirely. Number 9, Nicholas Pike for Stephen King's Sleepwalkers.
Wow.
Sleepwalkers.
Yeah, I like the soundtrack to this. I'll admit, I love the main theme to it. That helps as well, because it's Enya that does the main theme, and it's just such a fucking creepy song. But the soundtrack is really good as well. Number 8, Fabio Frizzi with Zombie.
I see a lot of repeats here, yeah.
Yep, number 7. And number 6, a double Jerry Goldsmith of The Omen at 7. And Poltergeist is 6.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. Yep. Number 5, John Carpenter's Halloween. Number 4, Goblin with Suspiria. Number 3, Charles Clouser with Saw.
Oh, good call.
One of my favorite soundtracks. Love it.
Charlie Clouser's good stuff.
Yeah. Number 2, Requiem for a Dream, Clint Mansell, Cronus Quartet. And number 1, Riz Ortolani, Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh.
That main theme is fucking pretty cool.
It is.
And it's kind of the score to the whole film, because it's just kind of played throughout the whole film. They do have some other like some like weird psychedelic type trance stuff in there, but it's really just the main theme played throughout the whole film. So
I'd like to listen to that soundtrack start to finish and hear what it's all about. Yeah.
You know what I found? If you can't find them for sale or on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever, I mentioned it earlier, but YouTube is if it exists, they have it in full. Sometimes they have it just in tracks, but check out YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I was using, was YouTube, just because it was easier. But you could pretty much get the whole soundtrack on YouTube and listen to it straight through.
I'm kind of a snob about my music, so when I think about listening to music on YouTube, like in my headphones and stuff, I just feel I won't get like the immersive experience of the stuff that I have purchased or upload. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe some stuff on YouTube is MP3 or higher quality. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this was clearly the list I should have gone first on, and then let you guys nerd out on the music, because you guys are like music junkies. I know that stuff. Whereas I mean, I love music. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like no music in my life, but I don't know. I just don't find myself listening to music enough.
As we nerd out, I use the term haunting and beautiful, and at the end of the day, but that's what brings you at the end. What connects you to it? What emotion is a draw from you? Is why you'd recommend it. I am surprised, honestly, Dave. If you and I go through our top 20s, I think maybe there's 15 of the same.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Maybe in different spots, but 15 of the same, in the sense that there's got to be something to be said about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe a little less.
There's something I want to mention. It's going to take me a minute. Continue to talk, but there's a soundtrack out there, and it's Harry Manfredini, but it's only the subtle stuff from the first 4 movies, without the strings and the bombastic music and stuff like that.
I'll say this. I was shocked, because listening to your lists, especially yours, Dave, that I didn't go with It Follows, and I didn't go with Neon Demon. I think you both had Neon Demon. I'm shocked because those are some of the soundtracks that I absolutely loved. But I don't know. I was immediately drawn back to like older soundtracks. I was immediately thinking like 80s and 70s.
Yeah, I mean,
And then I was drawn right to like the Italian, and obviously, I kept it simple. I went with some of the obvious choices.
nothing wrong with that. You know?
There is a Friday the 13th compilation of Harry Manfredini on iTunes, which is or Apple Music called Friday. It's just called Friday the 13th, the Ultimate Collection, the Ultimate compilation. Sorry.
No, there's like 4 tracks. One of them is called Moments of Madness. One of them is called Excerpts of Terror. Oh man, there's a way you can purchase those 4 tracks. I have to find it. Maybe I'll have to see it for the next show because Introduction to Horror is for part 1, but you can buy this album and it just has that stuff on there, and it's just it's just those songs where you can sit back and listen to it and feel like you're submersed in Camp Crystal Lake, so to speak. Just with the mellow stuff, the ding ding ding, and just anything that isn't like the chase music or the main theme. Next show I'll have a little a thing for the listeners if they wanted to listen to that stuff, because it's really good. It's only like maybe 40 minutes long, 40 to 50 minutes long, but it's just, if you're a big Friday the 13th head, you want to hear that shit.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, the first cliffhanger of the year. Yes.
I wonder how many cliffhangers we actually have never answered because we've totally forgotten about. That would be an interesting fact to find out.
I wish we had a freaking super fan that would go through the shows and tell us information like that and tell us the movies that made our Hall of Fame.
I'll tell you what, sometimes I'm talking with Derek and he's like, you gave this a 7 out of 10. I'm like, no, I didn't. He's like, yeah, you did. It was on episode this. I'm like, fuck, he's got like the memory of an elephant.
Derek, if you want to be our official guy, please do. I'll start doing it for Cinema Attack. I'll start writing down all the picks you guys. I'm sure Derek does that for his own show though, knowing him,
Yeah.
And if not, I'll ask Brandon. Brandon, what'd you give what the hell was that movie you guys covered? Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. All right.
10 whole inches.
I can give you 10 inches in 3 installments.
3 easy installments.
$29.95.
Right. For less than the cost of a cup of coffee.
You could be a Patreon supporter. For less than a cup of coffee. What, I know exactly where you got that from. Isn't that like from that? Well, it's not from them, but you reminded me of the Buffalo PBS people. That used to always be, every time I'd be like, these fucking guys from Buffalo always want me to try to donate to their station.
PBS, yeah, because they had Sesame Street, the pledge drive every year. Yeah.
I think Dave reminded me of the black guy who saves his pocket change to pay for his life insurance. Just what I have left over after breaking $1. And I can get quality life insurance.
Oh, shit.
Well, I don't know if we're back. But that was our first episode of 2018.
You know what? I really won't speak for you two because, well, to be honest, you were less than stellar, but I think I killed it tonight. No, I thought we did. I thought it was great.
Audience,
I really did.
You be the judges.
Nah, we did okay. And we'll the next show will be even better. We don't know what we're going to talk about, but it'll be even better. Maybe it'll be a franchise show. Who knows? We don't know what the hell we're going to do. We really don't know. We're just doing what we want this year, except for Patreon, which Patreon will probably have to be every other show because we owe people. So, but that's good. Every other show is fine as long as we don't become just a Patreon show. Although if we did, that would mean that a lot of people are donating and there's a lot. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll start recording an extra show just for the Patreon. I don't know, or maybe just like an extra 20 minutes. I don't know. Shit.
Who fucking knows?
Christian and I have to be here.
How about you continue to not know and we'll get the fuck out of Dodge?
I'm waiting for one of you guys to say yes or no.
I love it. I love just watching Dave just brainstorm out loud.
Oh.
Maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that. Maybe fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It's just thinking out loud. Exactly. That's what I do constantly in my freaking waking hours. Non-stop thinking. Yeah, it sucks. Okay. What are we going to pimp before we leave? Patreon one more time. Patreon.com/explodingheads. Get involved. $1 all access. Rock and roll. If you want to join the group page on Facebook, get in that. We're good. We're having a lot of fun in there. Get in there.
Season 3 in full effect.
Yeah, I'm off my rocker. explodingheadshorrorpodcast@gmail.com. Email it or voicemail us 702-389-6472. So, yeah, I think that's about it. You guys have anything else to say?
I just want to say thanks, everybody, for your support, and have a good night.
I just want to say it's good to be back and good to see your faces again.
Yeah.
You too,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Mans.
You, brah.
Yeah, brah. I can't bring myself to say it, brah. I can't do it.
I hate it too, but I find it so funny. What's up, brah?
I'm just happy to be back. I'm glad these guys are happy to be back, and I hope that you guys are happy that we're back. Yeah. I said
Chuckles
that,
and
okay.
fuckles.
Right on. All right. We love you guys.
Knuckles.
Thanks for and who? Funko.
And Knuckles. Can't forget me.
Oh, that you are. Good night, everybody. Roll the credits.